Welcome to What If Sleepstorian, a place where your favourite characters come together in timeless tales of mystery and adventure. Heroes, villains and spectral shadows meet in a world of gaslit streets and moonlit dreams, woven into soothing what-if stories from a bygone age. Settle back, close your eyes, and let these gentle narratives guide you into slumber. Tonight we begin with something a little sinister. London, 1888. A city drowned in fog, its streets choked with mist that curls like ghostly fingers. Gas lamps glow weak, their yellow lights swallowed by thick, heavy haze. The air is sharp with coal smoke, Thames sour rot, and a faint metallic tang of blood. Cobblestones glisten, slick with rain, mud, and something darker, reflecting the dim light in fractured shards. Women hurry through alleys, shawls pulled tight, their footsteps quick, eyes darting to shadows that seem to move. A bottle shatters in the distance, sharp, cutting the silence. A drunk's curse slurs, fading into the night. This isn't the London of grand balls, polished carriages or glittering chandeliers. It's a maze of fear, where every corner hides a threat. Whitechapel's alleys pulse with life and death. Houses lean, their windows cracked, leaking cries of hunger, despair and whispered prayers. People bolt their doors, their hands rough from labour, sewing, hauling coal, scrubbing floors, their faces gaunt, eyes hollow with exhaustion and dread. The air tastes bitter, like ash and fear, clinging to the tongue. Whispers spread through the streets, a name spoken in hushed terror. Jack the Ripper. His name is a blade, sharp, cold, cutting through hope. Every fog brings fear, heavy as the grave, chilling as his knife. Before we slip deeper into this shadowed tale, take a moment to like this episode and subscribe. But only if you truly enjoy these stories. Where are you listening tonight? Share your city or time zone in the comments. Are you in Lahore at midnight, Karachi at dawn, or London's early dusk? Let's weave our community in these foggy streets. Dim your lights, turn on a fan for that soft hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. Into this city of fog and fear steps Sherlock Holmes, his mind a razor, slicing through lies with cold, relentless precision. Beside him, Dr. John Watson, his heart a shield, loyal, brave, grounding his friend's brilliance. They hunt a mystery that has gripped London. Women found dead in Whitechapel's alleys, their throats slashed, blood drained, faces carved with cruel, mocking smiles. The police stumble, lost in the mist, their lanterns dim, their leads cold. The newspapers scream, "Ripper!" fueling panic that spreads like fire. Locals whisper of a ghost, a figure who walks through walls, his laugh a hiss in the dark, his eyes burning through the fog. What if he's not a man? What if Sherlock Holmes, the master of logic, the man who sees truth where others see shadows, is hunting a myth? A story crafted to haunt London's very soul? Whitechapel's alleys twist like veins through the heart of London, dark, narrow, slick with rain. Fog clings heavy, cold, damp, wrapping the streets in a shroud that muffles sound and sight. Gas lamps flicker, their light frail, casting shadows that leap like thieves, darting across crumbling walls. The air is thick with the stench of soot, sewage and fear, a sour weight that settles in the chest. A cart creaks past, its wheels grinding through mud, the driver hunched, his face hidden under a tattered hat, silent as a ghost. Women hurry through the alleys, their shawls thin, soaked, their footsteps quick, uneven, fading into the mist. Children huddle in doorways, barefoot, their eyes hollow, hands trembling as they steal crusts from bins, their breath white in the cold. This isn't the London of wealth and empire, of grand townhouses or polished society. It's a city of survival, where every night is a gamble, where every shadow might hide a blade. Houses loom, their walls stained with soot and time, leaking despair, cries of babies, coughs of the sick, whispered prayers for salvation. People hide behind bolted doors, their hands rough from needlework, hauling coal, or scrubbing tavern floors, their faces pale, hungry, etched with fear. They know he's out there, the Ripper, his knife sharp, his steps silent, his name a curse that chills the air, colder than the fog, sharper than steel. Sherlock Holmes kneels by an alley wall, his lantern casting a thin yellow glow that fights the fog. His eyes, sharp as blades, trace a chalk mark, a circle split by a jagged line, fresh, deliberate, glowing faintly in the dim light. His mind hums, relentless, a machine of logic and observation, sorting clues faster than most men breathe. The air is damp, cold, clinging to his greatcoat, seeping into his bones, but he ignores it. The alley smells of coal, rot and blood, faint but unmistakable, curling in his nose. He sees the victim's body, found an hour ago by a trembling constable, throat cut, blood gone, face carved with a smile that mocks life itself. Not random, he thinks, not madness. This is a performance, a message. His fingers brush the cobblestones, scratched, scuffed, signs of a struggle, but no clear footprints. The killer is careful, deliberate, a mind that rivals his own. Holmes' pulse stays steady, his face calm, but his thoughts race, piecing together the scene. The police see a madman, a butcher. He sees a plan, a story unfolding. His arrogance flickers. No one outthinks Sherlock Holmes, but a shadow of doubt lingers. What if this foe is more than a man? He glances at Watson, standing close, loyal, nervous, his revolver gripped tight, his breath clouding in the cold. Good man, but too emotional, Holmes thinks, a faint irritation in his chest. Watson must focus, or they'll miss the truth. Holmes. The mark, Watson. Not art, a message. He's daring us to follow. Observe the stones, scratched, not worn, a struggle, but no escape. This is no common brute. Dr. John Watson stands a step behind, his greatcoat soaked, heavy, the fog damp on his face seeping into his skin. The cold stings, like needles pricking his cheeks, sharp and relentless. The air tastes bitter, thick with coal and decay, coating his throat, making him swallow hard. His boots slip on the wet cobblestones, their clack loud in the oppressive quiet, echoing off the alley walls. He grips his revolver, its metal cold, heavy in his pocket, a small anchor in this sea of dread. This place is a cage, he thinks, his breath quick, nervous, clouding in white puffs. He watches Holmes, kneeling, his mind a machine, untouchable, seeing things Watson can't. The chalk mark glows, sinister, in the gaslight's weak flicker, a circle split by a jagged line, fresh, deliberate. Another death, Watson thinks, his heart sinking, heavy with dread. His fingers tighten on the revolver, knuckles white, the metal grounding him. This isn't his London, the city of warm hearths, orderly surgeries, or quiet evenings with a book. Here, death lurks in every shadow, its breath cold on his neck, its presence a weight he can't shake. He feels eyes watching, a prickle on his skin, but the fog hides everything, thick, alive, like a beast waiting. Watson. Holmes. This mark. It's fresh. Another victim. How do you know what he wants? Holmes. He tells us, Watson. The mark is his signature, his challenge. He's watching, and he knows we're here. Watson's chest tightens, a knot of dread twisting inside. The alley smells of rot, spoiled food, blood, faint but sharp, curling in his nose like a warning. His eyes dart to the darkness, expecting a glint of steel, a pair of eyes glowing through the fog. He follows Holmes, boots splashing in puddles, the sound loud, jarring in the quiet. Holmes moves with purpose, his coat flapping, cane tapping the stones, his silhouette sharp against the mist. Watson's revolver feels heavier, its weight both comfort and burden. He thinks of the victim, her face carved, her blood gone, and shudders. How does Holmes see so much? A figure moves in the fog. A woman, young, pale, her shawl thin, soaked, clinging to her shoulders. Her eyes meet Watson's, wide with fear, but soft, pleading, framed by damp curls. She's pretty, her face delicate despite the rough hands trembling at her sides. Hands worn from work, sewing, scrubbing. She knows something, Watson thinks, his heart skipping, not just from the danger. She's part of this, caught in the same web. Her gaze lingers, a moment of connection, then she slips into the mist, her steps quick, swallowed by the night. Watson shakes his head, forcing focus, but her face stays haunting, a flicker of warmth in the cold. Watson. Holmes. That woman. She saw us. She looked terrified. Should we follow her? Holmes. Focus, Watson. She's a distraction, unless she's marked too. The mark is our guide. Stay sharp. The scream pierces the fog, raw, desperate, cutting through the silence like a knife. Watson's pulse races, his breath quick, clouding in the cold, his heart hammering in his chest. Another victim. The air grows colder, wetter, pressing against his skin like a damp cloth, heavy, suffocating. He follows Holmes, who moves faster now, coat flapping, cane tapping, his eyes scanning the alley with relentless focus. The alley narrows, its walls closing in, bricks slimy with moss smelling of mould and urine, the stench sharp in Watson's nose. His hand stays on his revolver, fingers stiff, numb from the cold, but ready. We're walking into his lair, he thinks, dread pooling in his stomach. He sees the woman's face again, her fear, her soft eyes, her trembling hands. Is she safe? His heart aches, a mix of duty and something softer, warmer, pulling at him. Holmes stops at a door, old, warped, its wood cracked, marked with the same chalk circle, its edges fresh, wet, gleaming in the gaslight. He was here, Watson thinks, his chest tightening, the scream echoing in his mind, a warning he can't ignore. Holmes. Here, Watson. The game begins. He's close, closer than you think. The door groans, revealing a house's dark heart, a maze of shadows and despair. Stairs twist upward, their wood splintered, worn, creaking underfoot. The air is thick with damp sweat and fear, a sour tang that clings to the tongue, bitter, heavy. Walls peel, stained with soot and time, their cracks leak in faint sounds, a child's whimper, a cough, a whispered prayer for salvation. Watson's boots creak on the stairs, each step loud, heavy, echoing in the narrow hall. His lantern swings, its light weak, shadows dancing like spectres on the walls, moving, watching. This place is alive, he thinks, his skin pricking, a chill running down his spine. He hears a sob, faint, behind a door, someone hiding, terrified. Holmes moves ahead, his silhouette sharp, cane steady, his mind a beacon in the dark. Watson's hand brushes the wall, slimy, cold, making him flinch, his fingers pulling back. He thinks of the woman, her face, her fear, her warmth in the fog. I hope she's safe, he thinks, his heart heavy, torn between duty and care. The stairs climb higher, the air thicker, the smell of mould and blood growing stronger, faint but sharp, a warning. Holmes pauses, his lantern catching a detail, a drop of wax, red, fresh, on the stair rail. His eyes narrow, sharp, his mind working, relentless. Wax. Not candle wax, he thinks, his fingers brushing the drop, sticky, warm, blood, disguised. His thoughts race, piecing clues, the victim's wounds, surgical, precise, not rage. The chalk marks, symbols, not graffiti. A ritual, perhaps, or a mask for something colder, more calculated. The air smells of damp wood, mould and blood, a faint metallic tang that confirms his suspicion. Organised, deliberate, a mind at work. He notices Watson, revolver ready, eyes darting to every shadow, his face tight with worry. Watson must focus, or they'll miss the truth. The stairs end at a hatch, sealed, dust thick on its edges, marked with the chalk circle, its lines fresh, wet, a challenge. His lair, Holmes thinks, his mind sharp, ready. The truth is here, waiting. Holmes, Watson, observe. The wax, red, fresh, not candle wax. Blood, disguised. This is no madman. This is a mind, a plan. Watson, a plan? Holmes, this is madness. That scream. We're running out of time. Holmes, time is ours, Watson, if we use it. The hatch, he's been here, and recently. Watson's heart pounds, the air heavy, pressing his chest. The smell of blood stronger now, sharp, metallic, mixing with mould. His lantern shakes, shadows jumping, twisting like ghosts. This is madness, he thinks. His hand tight on the revolver, its weight grounding him. He sees the hatch, the chalk mark glowing, sinister, a gate to something dark. He thinks of the woman, her eyes, her fear, her trembling hands. She's out there, he thinks, his heart aching, a pull he can't ignore. Holmes kneels, examining the hatch, his fingers tracing the mark, his face untouchable. Watson's breath quickens, the sob from below echoing in his mind, faint but real. Someone's hiding, he thinks, or worse. The house feels alive, its walls watching, its shadows breathing. He steps closer to Holmes, revolver ready, his loyalty stronger than his fear, but the woman's face lingers, a quiet warmth in the cold. The hatch waits, a gate to secrets, its wood old, warped, marked with the killer's sign. Holmes's eyes gleam, his mind a razor, cutting through the fog, the fear, the lies. The air grows colder, heavier, like a storm brewing, pressing against them. Whitechapel sinks deeper into its fog, its people hiding, their hands rough from work, their hearts heavy with dread. The woman, Mary Collins, a seamstress, hurries through the streets, her shawl wet, her heart racing, her breath quick. She saw the chalk mark, felt eyes in the alley, a shadow too close, a whisper in the mist. They're watching, she thinks, her hands trembling rough from sewing, her candle waiting to be lit. Holmes and Watson stand at the hatch, the chalk mark glowing, a challenge, a promise of truth, or a trap. The city holds its breath, its scars deep, its shadows alive. What if the Ripper isn't one man, but a myth woven to control London's very soul? The attic is a cavern of shadows, its air thick with dust, decay, and a faint sharp sting of blood. Beams sag overhead, their wood warped, creaking under the weight of the old house roof. A single window, cracked and grimy, lets in a sliver of moonlight, silver and cold, painting the floor in ghostly streaks. The walls are covered with sketches, hundreds of them, inked faces of women staring out, some smiling, frozen in joy, others screaming, their eyes hollow, mouths twisted in terror. The floor is littered with papers, their edges curling, yellowed, scattered beside candles with wax hardened in red pools, like blood seeping into the cracks. The air tastes bitter, heavy with ink, wax and death, a sour weight that clings to the tongue. Whitechapel's fog presses against the window, muffling the world outside, swallowing the cries, footsteps and life of the streets below. Houses lean, their walls stained, leaking despair. Whispers of prayers, coughs, the soft sobs of those hiding. The people of Whitechapel bolt their doors, their hands rough from labour, sewing, hauling coal, scrubbing floors, their faces pale, eyes sunken with hunger and fear. The Ripper's myth grows, fed by whispers in taverns, headlines in papers, panic in every heart. His name is a shadow, a blade, cutting through the city's hope, chilling the air colder than the fog. Sherlock Holmes kneels in the attic's dim light, his lantern casting a thin yellow glow that fights the darkness. His eyes, sharp as razors, trace the sketches on the walls, each stroke precise, obsessive, a mind at work. His greatcoat is damp, heavy with fog, the cold seeping into his skin, but he ignores it, his focus unyielding. The air smells of blood, faint but unmistakable, mixing with the musty tang of mould and ink. His mind hums, relentless, a machine of logic sorting clues faster than most men think. The sketches are not art, but a map of madness, each face a victim, each expression a piece of a larger puzzle. He sees a table in the corner, cluttered with papers, a knife, its blade red-stained, glinting faintly. A letter lies half open, its ink black, sharp, the words clear. The myth lives. His thoughts race, piecing together the scene. The chalk marks found in the alley, the bodies drained of blood, the carved faces, all deliberate, a performance to terrify London. A cult, he thinks, his face untouchable, but his mind churning. The letter names them, the Raven Society, a shadow group weaving fear to control the city's heart. He notices a name among the papers, Mary Collins, the woman Watson saw in the alley, her face sketched on the wall, her eyes wide, scared. She's next, he thinks, his fingers brushing the paper, the ink still wet. The map on the table shows London's streets, marked with chalk circles, a plan to choke the city with fear. This is no mere killer, he thinks. This is a mind, a director staging a nightmare. No one outthinks Sherlock Holmes, but a shadow of doubt lingers. What if this foe is more than human? Holmes. Watson, this is no mere killer. The Raven Society. A cult, staging fear to rule London. Mary Collins is their next act. We must find her. Dr. John Watson stands near the hatch, his revolver gripped tight, its metal cold, heavy in his hand. The aquair tastes of dust, blood and bitterness, clogging his throat, making him swallow hard. His lantern shakes, its light weak, casting shadows that leap across the walls like spectres, twisting the faces in the sketches. This is madness, he thinks, his stomach a knot of dread, his heart pounding. The attic feels alive, its walls watching, its air pressing against his chest, heavy, suffocating. He sees Mary's sketch on the wall, her face, her eyes wide with fear, haunting him, pulling at his heart. She's out there, he thinks, alone in the fog, her soft eyes, trembling hands flashing in his mind. I have to help her. His fingers tighten on the revolver, knuckles white, the weight grounding him, but his thoughts churn with worry. The air smells of blood, faint, metallic, mixing with the sour stench of decay. He glances at Holmes, kneeling, his mind a machine, untouchable, seeing clues Watson can't. The sketches stare, their eyes accusing, their mouths frozen in screams. Watson's breath quickens, clouding in the cold, his skin prickling. Something's watching, he thinks, his eyes darting to the hatch, the darkness beyond. The fog outside seems to hum, thick, alive, like a beast waiting to strike. Watson. Holmes. These drawings. They're the victims. Mary's face is there. We have to save her now. Holmes. Sentiment, Watson. Clouds your judgment. She's a clue, not cause. Focus. The Raven Society is our prey. Watson's chest tightens, a flicker of frustration mixing with fear. A clue. Mary's a person, he thinks, his voice firm, defensive. She's in danger because of them. He steps closer to the table, his boots scuffing the floor, the sound loud in the quiet attic. The air feels heavier, colder, pressing against his skin like a damp cloth. He sees the knife, its blade crusted with dried blood, and shudders, picturing Mary's face, her trembling hands in the alley. She doesn't deserve this, he thinks, his heart aching, the warmth beyond duty stirring in his chest. He notices the map, its chalk circles marking alleys, streets, places where bodies were found. It's a plan, he realizes, his dread growing. The letter's words burn in his mind. The myth lives, a promise of more death, more fear. He looks at Holmes, his friend's face untouchable, eyes sharp, cutting through the chaos with relentless logic. Watson's loyalty holds, but his thoughts linger on Mary, her soft eyes, her fear, pulling him like a tide. Watson. She's not just a clue, Holmes. She's a person, scared, alone. We can't let them take her. Holmes. Your heart is admirable, Watson, but your mind must be clear. The Raven Society uses fear, not blades, as their weapon. Mary Collins is key, but only if we find her before they do. Holmes stands, folding the letter, his movements precise, deliberate, his coat heavy with damp. His mind races, mapping the clues, the sketches, the map, the knife, the chalk marks. The Raven Society, he thinks. Their name a whisper of something older, darker, perhaps a ritual masked as crime. Supernatural nonsense he dismisses, but the symbols nag at him, intricate, deliberate, hinting at something beyond greed. His eyes catch a detail, a raven scratched into the table, its lines deep, fresh, matching the pendant Mary wore in Watson's description. A mark, he thinks. They've chosen her, but why? He sees Watson, revolver ready, his face tight with worry, his eyes flicking to the hatch. Watson's loyalty is his strength, but his care for this woman could be a weakness. The attic feels smaller, the air colder, the sketches watching, their eyes accusing, their faces a gallery of death. Holmes steps toward the hatch, cane in hand, its metal cold, his mind sharp, ready. They must find Mary not for sentiment but for truth. The house below is a maze, its halls narrow, dark, walls peeling, stained with soot and time. The air is thick with damp and fear, a sour tang that clings to the tongue. Doors are bolted, but whispers slip through cracks. Prayers, curses, soft sobs of those hiding. Whitechapel streets pulse with dread. Fog swallowing sound, sight, hope. People lock themselves away, their hands rough from needlework, hauling coal, scrubbing floors, their faces pale, eyes sunken with hunger and fear. They know the Ripper, his name a curse, his knife a whisper in their dreams. Mary Collins hurries through the fog, her shawl wet, clinging to her shoulders, her heart racing, her breath quick. She saw the chalk mark in the alley, felt eyes watching, a shadow too close, a whisper in the mist. They're coming, she thinks, her hands trembling, rough from sewing, her candle waiting to be lit in her small cold room. She bolts her door, the wood old, warped, creaking under her touch. The pendant around her neck, silver, a raven, feels heavy, a weight she doesn't understand. A gift from a cloaked man in the tavern, his voice soft, promising protection. But now, it feels like a curse. Holmes and Watson descend the stairs, their boots creaking, the sound loud in the narrow hall. The air grows thicker, the smell of mould and blood sharper, a warning in the dark. Watson's lantern swings, its light weak, shadows dancing on the walls, twisting like spectres. This place is alive, he thinks, his skin prickling, his heart heavy. He hears a sob, faint behind a door, someone hiding, terrified. Holmes moves ahead, his silhouette sharp, cane tapping, his mind a beacon in the chaos. Watson's hand stays on his revolver, fingers stiff, cold, but ready. He thinks of Mary, her face in the sketch, her eyes pleading in the alley. I have to find her, he thinks, a flicker of care he can't shake. The stairs twist downward, the house a labyrinth, its walls closing in, its shadows breathing. Holmes pauses, noticing a drop of wax, red, fresh, on the stair rail. Not candle wax, but blood disguised. His mind hums, piecing clues. The murders are surgical, precise, not rage. The chalk marks are symbols, ritualistic, a performance. A cult, he thinks, but something older, darker, masters crime. Holmes, Watson, the wax, blood disguised. Their rituals are a facade, but their purpose is control. Mary Collins is marked, a sacrifice, perhaps. Watson, a sacrifice? Holmes, we can't let them touch her. She's out there, alone, scared. Holmes, your concern is noted, Watson, but focus. She's a witness, a key. We find her. We find them. Move quickly. Watson's chest tightens, frustration mixing with fear. Holmes's logic is cold, but Watson's heart burns for Mary. Her soft eyes, her trembling hands. The air tastes bitter, like ash and blood, sharp in his throat. He follows Holmes, boots heavy on the stairs, the sound echoing in the quiet. The house feels like a trap, its walls watching, its shadows alive. He hears another sob, closer now, from a door ahead. Mary? His heart skips, his revolver ready, his loyalty to Holmes clashing with his need to protect her. The fog outside presses against the windows, muffling the world. Holmes moves faster, his cane tapping, his eyes scanning, his mind cutting through lies. The letter's words echo in his mind. The myth lives, a promise of more death, more fear, a plan to break London's spirit. He sees the raven symbol again, scratched into a wall, its lines deep, fresh, a mark of the cult. They're organised, he thinks, but they're not me. The house opens to the street, fog swallowing their steps, the air cold, wet, heavy with coal and fear. Watson's coat is soaked, dripping, his breath clouding in quick puffs. He thinks of Mary hurrying through these alleys, her shawl thin, her hands trembling. She's close. He feels it. A warmth in the cold. Holmes leads, his silhouette sharp, his cane a steady rhythm, his mind mapping the streets, alleys, gas lamps, houses. The chalk marks guide them, a trail of death, a challenge. Watson's revolver feels heavy, ready, but his thoughts churn with worry. What if we're too late? A shadow moves in the fog, a figure, cloaked, vanishing into an alley, silent, deliberate. They're here, Watson thinks, his pulse racing, his hand tightening on the gun. Holmes pauses, his eyes catching the shadow, his mind calculating. They're watching, he thinks. They think they can outwit me. The air grows colder, the fog thicker, the streets a labyrinth of dread. Mary reaches her room, her hands shaking as she bolts the door, the wood creaking, weak. Her room is small, cold, smelling of damp walls and lavender, a faint sweetness that fights the decay. She lights a candle, its flame weak, flickering, casting shadows that twist like claws. Her pendant glints, silver, a raven, heavy around her neck. She thinks of the cloaked man, his voice soft, his eyes hidden, giving her the pendant weeks ago. Protection, he said, but now it feels like a mark, a target. She hears footsteps outside, slow, deliberate, stopping at her door. Her heart hammers, her breath quick, her hands rough from sewing, trembling as she grips the candle. They've found me, she thinks, fear mixing with defiance. She knows the alleys, the deaths, the whispers of the Ripper, but tonight feels different. A shadow too close, a whisper too real. The fog presses against her window, thick, hiding eyes that watch. Holmes and Watson reach a house, its door marked with a chalk circle, fresh, wet, gleaming in the gaslight. Holmes's eyes narrow, his mind relentless. The trail leads here, he thinks, his cane tapping the ground, steady, cold. Watson's heart pounds, his revolver ready, his thoughts on Mary, her face, her fear, her warmth. She's inside, he thinks, his chest tight, his loyalty to Holmes and his care for her clashing. The air smells of blood, faint, fresh, a warning. Holmes pushes the door, its wood splintered, creaking, revealing a dark hall, its walls slimy, stained. The house is a trap, its shadows breathing, its secrets heavy. Watson follows, his lantern dim, his heart racing, the fog outside humming, a beast waiting. The hunt is closing, but the truth feels slippery, like the cobblestones underfoot. Whitechapel drowns in rain, its alleys flooding with black water, thick with mud and despair. The air is heavy, sharp with wet stone, sewage and blood, a bitter tang that bites the lungs. Gas lamps sputter, their light weak, casting shadows that twist like knives on crumbling walls. Houses lean, their windows dark, leaking whispers, prayers, curses, the soft creak of bolted doors. People hide, their hands rough from sewing, hauling coal, scrubbing floors, their faces pale, eyes sunken with hunger and dread. The Ripper's name is a curse, whispered in taverns, scratched into nightmares, a shadow that chokes the city's heart. His myth grows, fed by fear, headlines, panic, a blade sharper than steel. The Raven Society moves unseen, cloaked figures blending with fog, their knives glinting, their chants low, dark, weaving a ritual that feels older than London's stones. They feed the myth, blood by blood, to control the city's soul. Sherlock Holmes, Dr. John Watson, and Mary Collins hurry through the rain, chasing a truth that feels slippery, like the cobblestones underfoot. Mary's pendant, a silver raven, hangs heavy around her neck, a mark of death, a beacon in the mist. Holmes leads, his greatcoat soaked, heavy, his cane tapping a steady rhythm on the slick stones. His mind is a razor, slicing through lies, relentless, mapping the streets, alleys, gas lamps, the house ahead. The air tastes of coal, wet, sharp, stinging his throat, but he ignores it, his focus unyielding. His eyes catch a chalk mark on a door, fresh, wet, a circle split by a jagged line. Their trail, he thinks, his thoughts racing. The Raven Society is close, their plan tightening, their ritual a performance to break London. The letter from the attic burns in his memory. The myth lives, a promise of blood, a cult staging fear to rule. He sees Mary, pale, trembling, her shawl thin, clinging to Watson's arm. She's key, he thinks, not for sentiment, but for truth. Her pendant, silver, a raven, matches the symbols in the attic. Intricate, deliberate, hinting at a ritual beyond greed. Supernatural nonsense he dismisses, but a shadow of doubt lingers. What if the ritual is more than a mask? He glances at Watson, his revolver ready, his face tight with worry. Watson must focus, or the truth will slip away. Holmes, Watson, the mark. Fresh, deliberate. She's inside. Stay sharp. They're watching. Dr. John Watson holds Mary's arm, guiding her through the rain, his coat drenched, dripping down his back. The air is cold, wet, sharp with coal and fear, choking his throat, making him swallow hard. His boots slip on the cobblestones, their clack loud in the quiet, echoing off the alley walls. His revolver is heavy, cold in his hand, a steady anchor in this sea of dread. Mary's hand trembles, her shawl soaked, clinging to her shoulders, her eyes wide, scared but strong, meeting his with a quiet trust. She's brave, he thinks, a flicker of care beyond duty stirring in his chest. Her face haunts him, soft, framed by damp curls, her hands rough from sewing, trembling in the alley. She doesn't deserve this, he thinks, his pulse racing, his loyalty to Holmes clashing with his need to protect her. The house looms, its door marked with the chalk circle, its wood splintered, warped, a gate to danger. The air smells of blood, faint, fresh, curling in his nose, a warning he can't ignore. He sees Holmes, his silhouette sharp, cane tapping, eyes cutting through the fog. He's fearless, Watson thinks, but Mary's warmth, her trust, pulls at him, a tide he can't resist. Watson. Holmes? She's terrified. We can't let them take her. She's seen too much. Holmes. Sentiment clouds your mind, Watson. She's a witness, not a cause. We need her alive to end this. Watson's chest tightens, frustration mixing with fear. Mary's not just a witness, he thinks, his voice protective. She's a person, caught in this nightmare. He steps closer to her, shielding her from the rain, her warmth grounding him, her hand small, trembling in his. The house's door creaks, revealing a dark hall, its walls slimy, stained with soot and time. The air is thick with damp and fear, a sour tang that clings to the tongue. Watson's lantern swings, its light weak, shadows dancing like spectres twisting on the walls. This place is a trap, he thinks, his skin prickling, his heart pounding. Mary's pendant glints, silver, a raven, a mark he doesn't understand but fears. She's in danger, he thinks, his revolver ready, his loyalty to Holmes steady, but his care for her growing, a warmth in the cold. They enter the house, the hall narrow, dark, its air sharper with mould and blood. Doors are bolted, but whispers slip through cracks. Prayers, sobs, the creak of someone hiding. Watson's boots echo loud in the quiet, his heart racing. He hears a sob, faint from a room ahead. Mary. His pulse skips, his hand tightening on her arm, gentle but firm. She's alive, he thinks, a flicker of hope. Holmes moves ahead, his cane tapping, his eyes scanning, his mind cutting through the chaos. The hall twists, leading to a door, old, warped, marked with a chalk circle, its lines fresh, gleaming in the dim light. Holmes pauses, his fingers tracing the mark. The air smells of lavender, faint, sweet, fighting the decay. Mary's room, Watson thinks, his heart hammering, her warmth beside him a quiet anchor. Holmes. Here, Watson. She's inside, and they've been here. Be ready. They're close. Watson pushes the door, its wood splintered, creaking, revealing a small room. Cold, dark, smelling of damp walls and lavender, a faint sweetness softening the decay. Mary huddles in a corner, pale, trembling, her shawl torn, her candle flickering, casting shadows like claws. Her eyes meet Watson's, scared, but grateful, warming his chest. She's alive, he thinks, his heart lifting. He kneels, his hand gentle on her arm, feeling her pulse fast but strong. She's safe, he thinks, but the room feels wrong, the air heavy, pressing. A chalk circle marks the floor, its lines sharp, sinister. They were here, Watson thinks, his revolver ready. Holmes scans the room, finding a note on the table. Black ink, words cruel. The raven demands blood. Watson's hand stays on Mary, her warmth grounding him, her trust a flicker of light in the dark. Mary. They came, cloaked men. They spoke of a raven, a sacrifice. I ran. They know I saw them near the last body. Watson. You're safe now, Mary. We won't let them touch you. What did they say? Holmes unfolds the note, his mind slicing through lies with cold precision. The Raven Society, he thinks. A cult weaving the Ripper's myth to control London's fear. The chalk marks, the murders, the sketches from the attic, all planned. A performance to break the city's spirit. The note mentions a cellar, St. Mary's ruined church. Their lair, a place where shadows gather. That's where they hide, he thinks, his thoughts racing. He sees Mary, fragile but fierce, her eyes on Watson, trusting, her pendant glinting, a silver raven matching the attic's symbols. She's marked, he thinks, a sacrifice for their ritual, but why her? The pendant's design is intricate, old, hinting at something beyond greed. Supernatural facade, he dismisses, but the chants from the fog nag at him, low, eerie. His mind maps Whitechapel, alleys, gas lamps, the church's broken spire. We end this tonight, he thinks, his cane cold, ready. Holmes. Miss Collins, the pendant. Where did it come from? Every detail matters. Their lair is Saint. Mary's cellar. We move soon. Mary. A man gave it to me, cloaked, in the tavern. He said it was protection, weeks ago. Then the murder started. They said the raven demands my blood. Watson's heart skips, his chest tightening. My blood? He thinks, his hand on Mary's arm protective, her warmth a quiet anchor. The air tastes bitter, like ash and blood sharp in his throat. His revolver is ready, but his thoughts churn with worry. She's not a sacrifice, he thinks, his loyalty to Holmes clashing with his care for her. He stands, shielding her, his eyes on the door, its wood cracked, marked. The room feels smaller, the air colder, the candle's flame weak, flickering. Holmes moves to the window, peering into fog, his silhouette sharp, his mind working. He's planning, Watson thinks, trust mixing with frustration. The fog outside hums, hiding eyes that watch. Watson's breath quickens, Mary's hand gripping his, small, trembling, but strong, her trust pulling at his heart. Watson. Holmes? You can't let them take her. She's seen their faces. She's not just a witness, she's their target. Holmes. Noted, Watson. She's key, but not for your reasons. Their ritual is a lie, but their knives are real. We protect her to end them. Mary's eyes widen, fear mixing with defiance. She's not hiding anymore, she thinks. Her hands rough from sewing, trembling but firm. Her candles light a small act of resistance. The pendant feels heavy, a curse she didn't ask for. She thinks of the cloaked man, his voice soft, his eyes hidden, promising protection. But now she sees the lie, the trap. The Raven Society, she thinks, their chants echoing in her memory, low, speaking of blood, sacrifice, a raven that hungers. She knows the alleys, the deaths, the whispers of the Ripper, but tonight feels different, a shadow too close, a truth too heavy. She grips Watson's hand, his warmth grounding her, his eyes kind, a connection she clings to in the dark. The house feels like a cage, its walls closing in, its shadows breathing. Holmes steps back from the window, his mind mapping the next move. The note's words burn in his memory. The raven demands blood, a ritual to feed the myth, to break London. St. Mary's Cellar, he thinks, their lair, where the truth waits, or a trap. The chants linger, hinting at a power beyond flesh, a lie, or something worse. He sees Watson standing close to Mary, his revolver ready. Sentiment is a weakness, Holmes thinks, but Watson's loyalty is strength. The air grows colder, like a blade on skin. Mary. I'm not staying here. I'll come with you. I've seen their faces. I won't hide any more. Watson. You're brave, Mary. We're with you. Holmes, she's coming, right? Holmes. She comes, Watson, but not for bravery. She's seen them. She's our guide. We move now to St. Mary's. The room feels smaller, the air colder, candles flame flickering. Watson's heart pounds, his revolver ready, his hand on Mary's arm, her warmth a quiet anchor. He thinks of her in the alley, her eyes pleading, her hands trembling, and vows to keep her safe, his loyalty to Holmes steady, his care for her growing. Holmes leads, his cane tapping, his mind cutting through lies, mapping the path to St. Mary's, the church's broken spire a shadow in his memory. The house's hall is dark, narrow, its walls slimy, stained, leaking fear. The air smells of blood, faint, a warning that follows them. Whitechapel's streets pulse with dread, fog swallowing sound, sight, hope. The Raven Society waits, their chants rising low, hinting at a ritual that feels hungry, a power beyond flesh, or a lie to terrify. Mary's pendant glints, a mark of death, a beacon in the mist. The trio steps into the rain, fog swallowing their steps, the air cold, wet, heavy with coal and fear. Watson's coat drips, his breath clouding, his heart racing, Mary's warmth beside him a quiet strength. Holmes moves ahead, his silhouette sharp, his cane a steady rhythm, his mind a beacon in the chaos. The streets twist, a labyrinth of dread, gas lamps flickering, shadows leaping like thieves. The chalk marks guide them, a trail of death, a challenge. Watson's revolver feels heavy, ready, his thoughts on Mary, her face, her trust. She's not a sacrifice, he thinks, his resolve hardening. Holmes's eyes scan the fog, catching a shadow, a cloaked figure, vanishing into an alley, silent, deliberate. They're here, he thinks, his mind cutting through lies. The air grows colder, the fog thicker, the city a trap waiting to snap shut. Mary walks, her head high, her shawl defying, her heart a drum, her pendant a weight she can't shake. The Raven Society watches, their knives sharp, their chants weaving a promise of blood, a myth that lives. Narrator. The fog thickens. Whitechapel's streets a maze, its shadows alive. Holmes, Watson, and Mary chase a trail of truth, their hearts heavy, their minds sharp, their path a trap. The Raven Society waits, their ritual a wound in London's soul. Mary's pendant glints, a curse in the dark, a guide to their lair. What if the myth they're hunting is stronger than their knives? Whitechapel's streets are a labyrinth, drowned in rain, their cobblestones slick with black water, thick with mud and despair. The air bites, heavy with wet stones, sewage and blood, a sharp tang that claws at the lungs. Gas lamps flicker, their light frail, casting shadows that leap across crumbling walls stained with soot and time. Houses loom, their windows dark, boarded, leaking faint whispers, prayers, curses, the creak of bolted doors. People hide inside, their hands rough from sewing, hauling coal, scrubbing floors, their faces pale, eyes sunken with hunger, fear etched deep. The Ripper's name is a blade whispered in terror carved into nightmares, a shadow that chokes London's heart. His myth grows, fed by panic, headlines, and blood, a story sharper than steel. The Raven Society moves through fog, cloaked figures blending with mist, their knives glinting, their chants low, weaving a ritual that feels older than the city's stones. Sherlock Holmes, Dr. John Watson, and Mary Collins hurry through the rain, their boots splashing, breath clouding in the cold, chasing a truth that feels alive, slippery, like the streets underfoot. Mary's pendant, a silver raven, swings heavy around her neck, a mark of death, a beacon in the fog. Holmes leads, his greatcoat soaked, clinging to his frame, his cane tapping a steady rhythm on the slick stones. The air tastes bitter, sharp with coal and fear, coating his throat, but his focus is unyielding, his mind slicing through lies. His eyes scan the fog, catching shadows that move, deliberate. The Raven Society is near, he thinks, his thoughts relentless, mapping the streets, alleys, gas lamps, the broken spire of St. Mary's Church ahead. The letter from the attic burns in his memory. The Raven demands blood, a ritual to feed the myth, to break London's spirit. The chalk marks guide them, circles split by jagged lines, a trail of death leading to the church's cellar. Mary is key, he thinks, not for sentiment but for truth. Her pendant matches the attic symbols, hinting at a ritual beyond greed. Supernatural nonsense, he dismisses, but a shadow of doubt lingers. What if the ritual is more than a mask? He glances at Watson, his revolver gripped tight, shielding Mary. Watson must focus, or the truth will slip away like fog. Holmes, Watson, the church is close, their lair is below. Stay sharp, they're waiting. Dr. John Watson walks beside Mary, his arm steadying her, his greatcoat drenched, dripping down his back. The rain is cold, stinging his face, the air sharp with coal and blood choking his throat. His boots slip on the cobblestones, their clack loud, echoing in the quiet. His revolver is heavy, a steady anchor against the dread pooling in his chest. Mary's hand trembles in his, her shawl thin, soaked, her eyes wide, scared, but fierce, meeting his with a quiet trust that warms his heart. She's brave, he thinks, a care beyond duty stirring, pulling like a tide. Her face haunts him, soft, framed by damp curls, her hands rough from sewing. She doesn't deserve this, he thinks, his pulse racing, his loyalty to Holmes clashing with his need to protect her. The church looms, its stones black with soot, its spire broken, jagged against the grey sky. The air smells of wax, blood, and something wrong, earthy, ancient, curling in his nose. He hears chants, low, drifting from below, a sound that prickles his skin. They're waiting, he thinks, his hand tightening on Mary's, her warmth grounding him. Watson. Holmes, those chants, they're not right. Mary, stay close. We'll keep you safe. Mary, I'm not running anymore. I've seen their faces. I'll face them. Holmes pushes open the church's door, its wood warped, creaking, revealing a dark nave, its pews broken, scattered, covered in dust. The air is thick, heavy with damp stone, wax and blood, a sour tang that clings to the tongue. Stained glass windows, cracked, let in faint moonlight, silver, painting the floor in ghostly shards. The chants grow louder, hypnotic, coming from below. A trapdoor in the floor marked with a chalk circle, its lines sharp. Holmes's eyes narrow, his mind mapping the church. Exits, shadows, the cellar below. Their lair, he thinks, his cane cold, ready. The letter pointed here. Saint. Mary's cellar where the Raven Society hides. Their ritual pulsing. He sees Mary, her pendant glinting, her face pale but defiant, standing close to Watson, his revolver ready. The air grows colder, like a blade on skin. Holmes. The cellar, Watson. Their ritual is below. Be ready. They're armed and desperate. Watson's heart pounds, the air thick, smelling of blood and wax sharp in his throat. His lantern swings, its light weak, casting shadows that twist across the broken pews. This is their trap, he thinks, his revolver ready, his hand on Mary's arm, her warmth a quiet anchor. Her eyes meet his, scared but strong, a fire beneath her fear. She's not a victim, he thinks, a connection growing deeper than duty. The chants rise, weaving through the air, heavy, hinting at something hungry. He hears footsteps, slow from below, a shadow moving under the trapdoor. They're here, he thinks, his pulse racing, his hand tightening on the gun. Holmes kneels, examining the trapdoor, his fingers tracing the chalk mark. He's planning, Watson thinks, trust mixing with frustration. The air feels wrong, heavy, the chants growing louder, a warning he can't ignore. Watson. Holmes. Those chants. They're not just men. Something's wrong here. Holmes. Superstition, Watson. Their ritual is a lie to terrify. Focus, or we lose her. Holmes lifts the trapdoor, dust falling like ash, revealing a stone staircase descending into darkness, lit by flickering candles, their red light casting blood-like shadows on the walls. The air is colder, thicker, smelling of earth, blood, and wax. The chants swell, hypnotic, weaving words that feel old. Watson's heart hammers, his revolver ready, Mary's hand gripping his, her warmth grounding him, her pendant a mark of death. They descend, Holmes leading, his cane tapping, his mind slicing through lies. The cellar is a cavern, its walls rough stone, damp, glistening, covered with symbols, ravens, circles, jagged lines carved deep. A stone table stands in the centre, littered with papers, a map of London, chalk circles marking alleys, a plan to spread fear. Cloaked figures circle the table, knives raised, their faces hidden under hoods, their eyes glinting. A man in black stands apart, his face masked, silver, raven-shaped, his voice sharp, cutting through the chants like a blade. The Ripper, Holmes thinks, his thoughts racing. Not a ghost, a man, but a mind to match his own. Holmes, your myth ends here. The Ripper is no ghost. You're men, and men bleed. Step away from the table, or I'll prove it. The leader laughs, his mask glinting in the candlelight, his knife raised, ready. The air feels heavier, the chants swelling, pressing against Watson's chest. He shields Mary, his revolver aimed, his hand steady, her warmth beside him a quiet strength. The cloaked men step forward, knives glinting, their movements slow, like wolves circling prey. Watson's heart races, his thoughts on Mary, her face, her trust. She's not a sacrifice, he thinks, his resolve hardening. Holmes stands tall, his cane raised, his eyes cutting through the chaos. The leader's voice hisses, promising blood, his mask a silver raven, a mirror of Mary's pendant. The ritual is real to them, Holmes thinks, a lie to control, but their knives are real. Leader, the raven demands blood. She belongs to us. The myth lives, and you can't stop it. Watson, stay back. She's not yours. Watson's revolver shakes, aimed at the leader, his heart pounding, the air thick with blood, wax and fear. Mary grips his arm, her breath quick, her eyes defiant, her pendant glinting. Holmes moves, his cane striking the leader's wrist, the knife clattering on stone, his movements precise. He's fast, Holmes thinks, but predictable. His mind maps the cellar, candles, table, exits, shadows, his thoughts relentless. He sees Watson, shielding Mary, his revolver smoking, his loyalty afire in the dark. The cloaked men lunge, knives flashing, their chants rising, heavy with intent. Holmes grabs a candle, throwing it at the table, papers catching fire, flames leaping red, consuming the map, the chalk circles curling to ash. Their plan burns, Holmes thinks, his cane ready. The leader roars, his mask slipping, revealing a face, pale, scarred, human, no ghost. Ordinary, yet monstrous, Holmes thinks, his mind relentless. Holmes, your ritual is a lie. Your myth dies now. Surrender, or burn with it. Watson shoots, the bullet tearing through a cloaked man's shoulder, blood black in the firelight, a scream ripping through the air. The cellar smells of smoke, blood, burning paper, a chaos that presses against Watson's chest. His arm aches, revolver heavy, but he reloads, hand steady, his eyes on Mary, her warmth grounding him, her trust alight in the dark. She pulls him back, her voice sharp, urging him to stay safe. The fire spreads, candles falling, flames licking the stone walls, casting wild shadows. The cloaked men falter, some fleeing, their chants breaking, their ritual shattering. We're winning, Watson thinks, his heart lifting, but the leader crawls, knife in hand, eyes wild under the mask, his voice a hiss, promising vengeance. Watson aims, his hand steady, but Holmes steps forward, cane raised, his face a mask of cold resolve, his mind a blade cutting through the chaos. Mary, you won't take me. I'm not your sacrifice, Watson. Holmes, behind you. Holmes dodges, his cane striking the leader's knee, dropping him, the knife skidding across stone, his movements precise. The leader's mask falls shattered, his face bleeding, human, weak, but his eyes burn, a promise of return. The fire roars, smoke thick, swallowing the cellar, the papers, the map, their plan crumbling to ash. Watson shields Mary, his body a wall, her pendant torn off, safe in his pocket, its silver raven cold, a curse broken. The chants fade, the cloaked men scatter, their ritual broken, their myth cracking. The air is thick, smelling of smoke and blood, but Watson's heart lifts. Mary's safe, he thinks, a connection deeper than duty, a promise of something more. Holmes stands over the leader, his cane steady, his eyes sharp. No one outthinks me, he thinks, but the leader's laugh lingers, weak, a whisper of something not fully dead. Narrator. The cellar burns, flames red, smoke thick, swallowing the Raven Society's lair. Whitechapel's fog hides the fight, muffling screams, chants, chaos. Holmes, Watson and Mary stand in the firelight, their hearts heavy, their minds sharp, the truth a wound in London soul. The myth cracks, but its shadow lingers, a whisper in the dark. What if the Ripper's myth is stronger than the men who made it? Dawn breaks over Whitechapel, the fog thinning, grey, soft, like a sigh after a long night. The air is crisp, sharp, with charred wood, ash and coal, a clean bite that clears the lungs. Cobblestones glisten, wet, reflecting the first light, faint, golden, shimmering in puddles. Houses stand, scarred, their walls stained with soot, windows cracked, but people step out, cautious, their hands rough from sewing, hauling coal, scrubbing floors, their faces pale, gaunt, carry hope. faint, fragile, like the dawn itself. The Ripper's name lingers, a whisper, no longer a blade but a scar on London's heart. His myth, fed by blood, fear, headlines, weakens, cracked by truth, yet shadows remain, curling in alleys, in dreams. St. Mary's Church smoulders, its flames gone, smoke rising, grey, curling over the Thames, a ghost fading in the light. The Raven Society lies broken, their leader dead, his followers scattered, their ritual silenced, their knives dull. Sherlock Holmes, Dr. John Watson, and Mary Collins walk through the streets, their boots splashing in puddles, breath white in the cold, their hearts heavy, their minds sharp. The city breathes, scarred but alive, its pulse steady, its secrets deep. Dawn breaks over Whitechapel, the fog thinning, grey, soft like a sigh after a long night. Cobblestones glisten, wet, reflecting faint golden light in puddles. Houses stand scarred, their walls stained with soot, windows cracked, but people step out cautious, their hands rough from sewing, hauling coal, scrubbing floors. Their faces carry fragile hope. Holmes walks ahead, his greatcoat torn, damp, his cane tapping a slow rhythm. His mind hums, replaying the cellar's chaos, the leader's face, pale, scarred, human, his laugh weak. The myth was their weapon, a lie to choke London's spirit. His eyes scan the streets, catching a wall marked with a raven carved deep, fresh. Below it, scratched letters form a code. Thorn, docks, grimoire. His thoughts race. The map burned, its chalk circles ash, but this mark whispers a new threat. He grips a charred page, its ink smudged, words faint. The myth never dies. Holmes, Watson, observe. The raven mark, fresh, deliberate. Their spark still burns. Watson walks beside Mary, his coat heavy, torn, smelling of smoke. His revolver rests in his pocket, empty, cold. His arm aches, bruised, but his heart lifts. Mary's presence a quiet anchor. Her shawl is patched, damp, her face pale, weary, but her eyes meet his, kind, trusting. She's safe, he thinks, a flicker of joy. The raven mark catches his eye, its lines sharp, a whisper of doubt. He steps closer to Holmes, his boots splashing in puddles. Watson. Another mark? Holmes. We stopped them. How can they still be here? Mary. I know these streets. That code. Docks mean the old warehouses. Someone's hiding there. Holmes glances at Mary, her voice steady, her knowledge useful. His mind maps Whitechapel. Alleys, gas lamps, the Thames dark waters. The code points to Doctor. Elias Thorne, a name unfamiliar, and a grimoire, a word that smells of superstition. A shadow moves in the fog, a cloaked figure vanishing into an alley, silent, deliberate. They're watched, he thinks, his cane ready. Holmes. Miss Collins, your knowledge is valuable. Watson. She comes with us, to the docks. We end this now. Watson's chest tightens, his hand brushing Mary's arm, protective. She's brave, he thinks, but the mark, the shadow, the code, they pull at his heart, a weight he can't shake. The streets pulse, quiet, gas lamps dimming, their light fading in the growing day. The hunt begins again. The trio moves through Whitechapel, fog curling around their steps, the air cold, wet, heavy with coal. Houses lean, their walls slimy, stained, doors bolted. Whispers slip through cracks, prayers, curses, soft sobs. Mary leads, her steps quick, her shawl tight, her eyes scanning alleys she knows too well. Watson follows, his revolver reloaded, heavy, cold, his thoughts churning. She shouldn't be here, he thinks, but her resolve, her knowledge, grounds him. Holmes trails, his cane tapping, his mind sorting the code. Thorn, docks, grimoire. The Thames looms ahead, its water black, glinting, carrying whispers of the night. The docks are a maze of crates, rusted chains, and sagging warehouses, their wood warped, creaking in the wind. The air smells of salt, tar, and something sharp, metallic like blood. Mary pauses at a warehouse, its door marked with a raven carved deep. Her hand trembles, rough from sewing, but her voice is steady. "Mary, this is it. I've seen men here cloaked at night. They spoke of a book." Holmes. "A book. The grimoire, perhaps?" Watson. "Stay close. We're not alone." Watson grips his revolver, his heart pounding, Mary's warmth beside him a quiet strength. The door creaks, revealing a cavernous space, dark, littered with crates, ropes and barrels. A single gas lamp flickers, casting shadows that twist like spectres. Footsteps echo, slow, deliberate, from the shadows. Holmes's eyes narrow, his mind mapping the space. Exits, cover, threats. A figure emerges, cloaked, holding a knife, its blade glinting. Watson raises his gun, but Holmes signals to wait. Holmes. "Name yourself." "You're not the leader." "His face burned last night." The figure lowers its hood, revealing a woman. Young, her face pale, eyes sharp, a raven pendant around her neck. She speaks, her voice cold, steady. "Woman, I'm nobody. The Raven Society lives. The grimoire will rise, and London will kneel." "Watson, you're alone. Your cult is broken. Give up now." The woman laughs, sharp, venomous, and vanishes into the shadows. Footsteps multiply, more cloaked figures moving, knives glinting. Watson shields Mary, his revolver ready, his pulse racing. Holmes moves, swift, his cane striking a crate, splintering it, revealing a hidden trapdoor marked with a chalk circle, its lines sharp. His mind races. Thorn, grimoire, docks. This is their path. Holmes. "Watson, the trapdoor. They're below. Follow me." The trapdoor leads to a stone tunnel, damp, glistening, smelling of earth and blood. Candles flicker, their red light casting shadows on walls carved with ravens, circles, jagged lines. The air is thick, pressing, the chants faint, low, weaving through the dark. Watson's lantern swings, its light weak, Mary's hand gripping his, her warmth grounding him. Holmes leads, his cane tapping, his thoughts relentless. The tunnel opens to a chamber, its walls rough stone, a stone table in the centre littered with papers, a map of London, and a blood-red ruby, glowing faintly like an eye. The raven's eye, Holmes thinks, his pulse steady. A man stands at the table, old, gaunt, his coat tattered, his eyes wild. Dr. Elias Thorne. "Thorne, you shouldn't be here. The grimoire is power. The raven demands blood." Holmes. "Your grimoire is a lie, Thorne. A book to scare fools. Where is it?" Thorne laughs, weak, defiant, his hand clutching a leather-bound manuscript, its pages yellowed, marked with symbols. Chants grow louder, cloaked figures emerging from shadows, knives raised. Watson fires, the bullet grazing a cultist's arm, blood black in the candlelight. Mary ducks, her shawl catching on a crate, tearing, but she grabs a candle, throwing it at a cultist, flames catching his cloak. The chamber erupts, knives flashing, shadows leaping. Holmes moves, his cane striking Thorne's wrist, the manuscript falling, its pages scattering. Watson shields Mary, his revolver smoking, his heart racing. Watson. "Mary, stay behind me. Holmes, we're outnumbered." Mary. "I'm not hiding. They won't take me again." Mary grabs a knife from the floor, her hands trembling but firm, her eyes fierce. She slashes a cultist's arm, blood spraying, her courage afire in the dark. Holmes snatches the manuscript, his mind scanning its pages. Symbols, rituals, a map to Tower Bridge. The ruby, the grimoire, a ritual to revive the myth, he thinks, his thoughts racing. The cultists retreat, their chants breaking, Thorne crawling, his eyes wild, muttering of blood, ravens, power. Holmes kicks the ruby, sending it skidding into shadows, his cane ready. Holmes. "Watson." The manuscript points to Tower Bridge. Their ritual is there. We move now. The trio escapes the chamber, the tunnel collapsing behind them, dust falling like ash. The docks are quiet, fog thick, the Thames glinting, black, alive. Watson's arm aches, his revolver heavy, but Mary's warmth beside him, her courage, lifts his heart. She's not a victim, he thinks, a connection growing, deeper than duty. Holmes leads, his coat damp, his mind mapping London, alleys, gas lamps, the bridge's scaffolding. The manuscript's pages burn in his memory, detailing a ritual to stage a murder at the bridge, using the ruby to amplify fear, to make the Ripper live again. They're organised, he thinks, but not me. The streets twist, a labyrinth of dread, gas lamps flickering, shadows leaping. Mary's knowledge guides them, her steps quick, her shawl defying the cold. Watson follows, his revolver ready, his thoughts churning. She's risking everything, he thinks, his heart pulling, a warmth he can't shake. Holmes pauses, his eyes catching a shadow, a cloaked figure vanishing into fog, deliberate. They're watched, he thinks, his cane cold, ready. The air grows colder, the fog thicker, the city a trap. Tower Bridge looms, its towers half built, scaffolding creaking, the Thames below black churning. The air smells of tar, iron and blood, a warning. Holmes, Watson, the bridge, their ritual is tonight. The ruby is their key. Watson, a ritual? Holmes, we can't let them start. Mary, you should stay back. Mary, no, Doctor, I've seen their faces. I'm with you. Watson's chest tightens, his hand brushing Mary's, protective. She's brave, he thinks, but the bridge, the fog, the chance, they weigh on him. The trio climbs the scaffolding, their boots loud on metal, fog curling around them. The bridge is a maze of beams, ropes and crates, gas lamps flickering, casting shadows that twist like knives. Chants rise, low, hypnotic from below, a platform rigged with candles, a stone table, and the ruby, glowing red like blood. Cloaked figures circle, knives raised, a woman in black at the centre, Lady Evelyn Blackwood, her face pale, eyes sharp, a raven pendant glinting. Blackwood, the raven rises, the myth lives, London will bleed. Holmes, your myth is a lie, Blackwood, a stage for power, step away from the ruby. Blackwood laughs, her voice sharp, venomous, her knife raised. The chants swell, pressing against Watson's chest, his revolver aimed, his hand steady. Mary grips his arm, her eyes fierce, her warmth grounding him. The cultists advance, knives glinting, their movements slow, deliberate. Holmes moves, his cane striking a cultist's wrist, the knife clattering, his mind mapping the platform, candles, table, exits. Watson fires, the bullet tearing through a cultist's shoulder, blood black in the firelight. Mary grabs a rope, pulling it, scaffolding creaking, crates falling, scattering the cultists. Watson. Holmes, the ruby, they're starting, Mary. I can get it. Cover me. Mary darts forward, her shawl catching on a beam, tearing, but she reaches the table, grabbing the ruby, its glow pulsing, warm. A cultist lunges, his knife flashing, but Watson shoots, the bullet grazing his arm, blood spraying. Mary ducks, clutching the ruby, her hands trembling but firm. Holmes snatches the manuscript from Blackwood's cloak, its pages detailing the ritual, a murder to ignite fear, the ruby to amplify it, the grimoire to seal it. He tears the pages, scattering them into the Thames, the wind carrying them away. Holmes, your grimoire is ash. Your ritual ends now. Blackwood roars, her knife slashing, but Holmes dodges, his cane striking her wrist, the knife falling. Watson shields Mary, his revolver smoking, his heart racing. The ruby glows in her hand, warm, heavy, a curse. She runs to the bridge's edge, the Thames below, and throws it, the ruby sinking, its glow fading, the chants breaking. The cultists falter, some fleeing, their ritual shattered. Blackwood crawls, her eyes wild, her voice a hiss, promising return. Holmes stands over her, his cane steady, his mind relentless. Holmes, you're no raven, just a woman, and women bleed. Watson's arm aches, his revolver empty, but Mary's warmth beside him, her courage, lifts his heart. She's safe, he thinks, a connection deeper than duty, a promise of something more. The bridge quiets, fog thick, the Thames glinting, alive. The cultists scatter, their knives dull, their myth cracked. Holmes burns the manuscript's last page, ash falling like snow, soft, final. The truth won, he thinks, but truths are fragile. Watson glances at Mary, her face pale, weary, but her smile soft, brave, her eyes meeting his, kind, trusting. Watson. Mary, you did it. You stopped them. Mary. We did, Doctor. All of us. The trio descends the bridge, their boots splashing in puddles, the air crisp, sharp with coal and river water. Whitechapel wakes, its streets alive, scarred but breathing. People emerge, cautious, their faces tired, hopeful, whispering of the fire, the fight, the ripper's end. Holmes walks ahead. His mind hums, replaying the bridge's chaos, Blackwood's face pale, human, her laugh weak. The myth was their weapon, he thinks, a lie to control London. His eyes scan the streets, catching a newspaper headline, Mysterious Theft at British Museum. A new clue, he thinks, his pulse steady, his thoughts racing. The city heals, scarred but alive, its pulse steady, its secrets deep. Watson. Holmes, it's over, let's go home. Holmes. Not yet, Watson. The myth lives, in whispers, in shadows. We watch. Mary pauses, her shawl tight, her eyes on Watson, her smile small, brave. She thinks of the bridge, the ruby, Blackwood's face, human, broken. She's free, she thinks, her hands trembling less, her heart fierce. She'll sew again, her life hers, scarred but whole. Watson's kindness, his warmth, stays with her, a light in the dark. She brushes his hand, light, her fingers warm, her eyes shy, strong. A thank you, a promise. Mary. I'll stay in Whitechapel, Doctor, help my people, but I'll see you again, Watson. You're stronger than you know, Mary. Take care. The Thames glints, gold, carrying whispers of the night, its water alive, scarred but flowing. Holmes walks ahead, his greatcoat torn, damp, heavy with the rain and smoke, his cane tapping a slow rhythm on the cobblestones. The air tastes clean, sharp with ash, a faint tang of blood lingering, a reminder of the night. His mind hums, relentless, replaying the cellar's chaos, the leader's face, pale, scarred, human, no ghost, his laugh weak, defiant. The myth was their weapon, he thinks, a lie to control London, to choke its spirit with fear. His eyes, sharp as blades, scan the streets, catching a wall marked with a raven, carved deep, fresh, a sign someone escaped. His pulse stays steady, his thoughts racing, piecing clues. The map burned, its chalk circles ash, their plan destroyed, but the raven mark whispers, a promise of return. No one outthinks Sherlock Holmes, he thinks, his arrogance a quiet fire, but doubt flickers. What if the myth lives beyond the men? He holds a charred page from the map, its ink smudged, words faint. The myth never dies. His fingers tighten, crushing it, ash falling like snow, soft, final. The truth won, he thinks, but truths are fragile, easily twisted. He glances at Watson, loyal, fierce, walking with Mary, his face soft, protective, a warmth in his eyes. Sentiment, Holmes thinks, a flicker of irritation, but Watson's heart is his strength, a balance to his logic. Holmes. The cult is gone, Watson. Their knives are dull, their myth cracked, but stories don't die. The Ripper will return, in whispers, in fear. Dr. John Watson walks beside Mary, his arm brushing hers, his greatcoat torn, heavy, smelling of smoke and rain. The air is cold, clean, sharp with ash, clearing his throat, easing the weight in his chest. His revolver rests in his pocket, empty, cold, a silent ally, its work done. His arm aches, bruised from the fight, but his heart lifts, light, warm. Mary's presence a quiet anchor. Her shawl is patched, damp, clinging to her shoulders, her face pale, weary, but her smile is soft, brave, her eyes meeting his, kind, trusting. She's safe, he thinks, a flicker of joy, a connection deeper than duty, stirring, gentle, like the dawn. Her hands, rough from sewing, tremble less now, her pendant gone, torn off in the cellar, safe in his pocket, its silver raven cold, a curse broken. The streets are quiet, gas lamps dimming, their light fading in the growing day. People emerge, cautious, their faces tired, hopeful, whispering of the fire, the fight, the ripper's end. Watson feels it. Fear lingers, like blood in the air, a shadow not fully gone. Is it over, he thinks, his heart heavy. But Mary's warmth, her trust, pulls him back, a light in the dark. Watson, Mary, you were brave. You're safe now. Stay that way, please. Mary, thank you, Doctor. You saved me, both of you. I'll never forget this night. Watson's chest warms, her words soft, pulling at his heart, a promise of something more, fragile, unspoken. Her hand brushes his, light, her fingers rough but warm, then pulls away, her eyes shy, strong, a flicker of hope. Maybe one day, he thinks, his heart light, but duty holds him, his loyalty to Holmes a steady anchor. He glances at Holmes, walking ahead, his silhouette sharp, cane tapping, his mind never resting, a beacon in the chaos. He saved us, Watson thinks, or, mixing with gratitude, the city feels alive, scarred but breathing, its people stepping into the light, their hands rough, their hearts fierce. A newsboy shouts, his voice sharp, cutting the dawn. "Ripper's dead!" Whitechapel saved. The words echo, hopeful, but Watson's skin prickles, a raven mark on a wall catching his eye, fresh, deep, a whisper of doubt. The myth lives, he thinks, his heart sinking. But Mary's warmth beside him, her trust, keeps the shadow at bay. Holmes pauses, his eyes narrowing, the raven mark glowing in the dawn, its lines deliberate, a challenge. His mind races, relentless, sorting clues. The leader's face, the burned map, the chants. Low, eerie, not fully human. A lie, he thinks, a performance to terrify, but the mark suggests someone fled, a follower, a spark of the myth still burning. His arrogance holds, no puzzle defeats Sherlock Holmes, but the city's scars, its whispers, nag at him. The truth won, he thinks, but myths are stubborn, twisting truth into fear. He sees Watson, his friend, standing close to Mary, his face soft, protective, a warmth in his eyes that Holmes doesn't understand, doesn't need. Sentiment, he thinks, a weakness, but Watson's loyalty, his heart, balances his logic, a partnership stronger than the myth. The air smells of ash, clean, sharp, a new breath for London. Holmes lights a match, its flame bright, and burns the charred page, ash falling, soft, final. No one else will see this, he thinks, his cane tapping, steady, cold, his mind already chasing the next clue. Holmes, Watson, we watch. The myth lives, but we'll end it. Home, for now. Watson. Back to Baker Street, Holmes. After all this? Holmes nods, his eyes sharp, scanning the streets, the fog lifting, the Thames glinting, gold in the dawn. The city breathes, its scars deep, its people alive, their hands rough, their hearts fierce. Watson walks with Mary, her steps steady, her shawl defying the cold, her eyes on him, soft, grateful, a connection unspoken, a promise for another day. She'll return to her room, he thinks, her candle waiting, her life scarred, but hers again. His heart lifts, light, warm, her warmth a quiet anchor, his revolver cold, done. The streets pulse, quiet, hopeful, gas lamps dimming, their light fading in the day. People gather, cautious, their faces tired, whispering of the fire, the fight, the ripper's end. A woman, old, her hands rough from washing, nods at Watson, her eyes kind, grateful. The city heals, he thinks, his chest light, but the raven mark lingers, a whisper of doubt, a shadow in the light. Mary pauses, her eyes on Watson, her smile small, brave, her voice soft, steady, cutting through the dawn. She thinks of the cellar, the fire, the leader's face, pale, scarred, human, his laugh weak, broken. She's free, she thinks, her hands trembling less, her pendant gone, her weight lifted. The Raven Society is broken, their ritual silenced, their myth cracked, but she knows the streets, the whispers, the fear that lingers. She'll sew again, she thinks, her hands rough, her heart fierce, her life hers, scarred but whole. Watson's kindness, his warmth, stays with her, a light in the dark, a connection she'll carry. She brushes his hand, light, her fingers warm, her eyes shy, strong, a thank you, a goodbye, a maybe. She turns, her shawl tight, her steps steady, fading into the streets, a figure in the dawn, alive, free. Mary. I'll be all right, Doctor. Keep London safe. I'll see you again, maybe. Watson. Take care, Mary. You're stronger than you know. Watson watches her go, his heart heavy, light, a mix of loss and hope, her warmth lingering, a promise of something more, fragile, unspoken. He follows Holmes, his boots splashing, his revolver cold, his loyalty steady, his heart pulling, a balance he's learning to carry. The city wakes, its streets alive, scarred but breathing, its people stepping into the light, their hands rough, their eyes hopeful. A man, young, his face gaunt, sells papers, his voice loud. Ripper's gone, heroes of Whitechapel. Watson smiles, faint, his chest warm, but the raven mark on the wall nags, fresh, deep, a whisper of doubt. Holmes walks ahead, his silhouette sharp, his mind never resting, a beacon in the chaos. The Thames glints, gold, alive, carrying whispers of the night, its water steady, scarred but flowing. The train station looms, its platform crowded, smoke thick, grey, curling from the engine, huffing, ready. The air smells of coal, oil and ash, sharp, clean, a new breath. Holmes and Watson board, their boots loud on metal, their coats heavy, torn, smelling of smoke and rain. Watson glances back, hoping for Mary, her shawl, her smile. But she's gone, a figure in the dawn, her life hers again. His heart aches, light, warm, a connection he'll carry, a promise for another day. Holmes sits, his cane across his knees, his eyes sharp, scanning the crowd, catching a figure, cloaked, fleeting, vanishing into smoke. A follower, he thinks, his mind racing, his arrogance steady. The myth lives, he thinks, but we'll end it. The whistle screams, sharp, cutting the dawn, the train lurching, wheels clanking, pulling them away. Watson leans back, his arm aching, his revolver cold, his heart light, Mary's face lingering, a warmth in the dark. The train station looms, its platform crowded, smoke-thick grey, curling from the engine, huffing, ready. The air smells of coal, oil and ash, sharp, a new breath. Holmes and Watson board, their boots loud on metal, their coats heavy, torn, smelling of smoke and rain. Watson glances back, hoping for Mary, her shawl, her smile, but she's gone, a figure in the dawn, her life hers again. His heart aches, light, warm, a connection he'll carry, a promise for another day. Holmes sits, his cane across his knees, his eyes scanning the crowd, catching a figure, cloaked, fleeting, vanishing into smoke. A follower, he thinks, his mind racing. The myth lives, he thinks, but we'll end it. The whistle screams, cutting the dawn, the train lurching, wheels clanking, pulling them away. Watson leans back, his arm aching, his revolver cold, his heart light. Mary's face lingering, a warmth in the dark. A porter shuffles past, his hands rough, his coat patched, dropping a folded paper on Holmes's lap. Holmes unfolds it, his eyes narrowing, the ink black, sharp. British Museum. Jade raven stolen. They rise again. His thoughts race, piecing clues. The raven mark, the charred map, the cloaked figure. Raven society, he thinks. Their spark burning, a new plan forming. He passes the note to Watson, his cane tapping the floor, steady, cold. Holmes. Watson, read this. The myth moves faster than we thought. Watson scans the note, his chest tightening, the air thick with coal and doubt. His revolver rests in his pocket, empty, cold, but his thoughts churn. Another theft, he thinks, his heart sinking. Mary's safe, but London isn't. He glances at Holmes, his silhouette sharp, mind never resting, a beacon in the chaos. Watson. British Museum. Holmes, we just stopped them. How are they back so soon? Holmes. Not all were in the cellar. Some fled, some hid. This jade raven. Another symbol. Another lie. We go to the museum. The train rattles, smoke curling past windows, the city blurring, grey, scarred. Watson's arm aches, bruised from the bridge, but his heart pulls. Mary's face lingering, her courage alight in the dark. The museum, he thinks, a new trap, a new hunt. Holmes's eyes scan the carriage, catching a shadow. A man, young, his coat too clean, his eyes too sharp, watching. A follower, Holmes thinks, his mind mapping exits, threats, plans. The train slows, steam hissing, the platform crowded, voices loud, chaotic. They step off, their boots splashing in puddles, the air cold, sharp with coal and iron. The British Museum looms, its columns stark, grey, its steps slick with rain. The air smells of wet stone and wax, a faint tang of dust. Guards stand at the doors, their faces tired, their hands rough, whispering of the theft, the raven, the fear. Holmes moves ahead, his cane tapping, his mind slicing through lies. Watson follows, his revolver reloaded, heavy, his thoughts churning. Inside, the museum is a maze of marble, glass and shadows, artifacts glinting, their story silent, heavy. A curator, old, his coat frayed, leads them to a shattered case, its glass jagged, a velvet stand empty. A raven mark is scratched into the wood, deep, sharp. Curator, the jade raven statuette. Gone last night. No alarms, no witnesses, just this mark. Holmes. No witnesses. The guards are blind or bought. Show me the vault. Watson glances at the mark, his skin prickling, the air thick with dust and doubt. The vault, he thinks, another trap. The curator leads them through corridors, dark, narrow walls lined with crates, papers, relics. The vault door is iron, heavy, marked with a raven carved fresh. Holmes's fingers trace the lines, his mind racing, organised, deliberate, not chaos. The vault is cold, its shelves littered with artefacts, papers, a map of London, chalk circles marking alleys, docks, a theatre in Shoreditch. Watson's heart skips, the map a twin to the one burned in the cellar. Watson. Holmes. Another map. They're planning again. Holmes. Not planning, executing. The statuette is their key, the theatre their stage. We move now. A shadow moves, swift, behind a crate, a knife glinting. Watson raises his revolver, but the figure vanishes, footsteps echoing, soft, deliberate. They're watched, he thinks, his pulse racing. Holmes leads, his cane tapping, his mind mapping the city, alleys, gas lamps, the theatre's sagging roof. The streets twist, fog curling, the air cold, heavy with coal and blood. Houses lean, their walls slimy, doors bolted, whispers slipping through cracks, prayers, curses, fear. Watson's coat drips, his boots slipping on cobblestones, his thoughts pulling to Mary, her courage, her warmth. She's safe, he thinks, but the raven mark, the theft, the map, They weigh on him. A figure steps from an alley, shawl patched, face pale, Mary. Watson's heart lifts, his hand brushing hers, protective. Her eyes meet his, kind, fierce, her voice steady. Mary. Doctor, I heard of the theft. My contact Tommy saw cloaked men at the theatre. I had to find you, Watson. Mary, you should be safe. Not here. But I'm glad you are. Holmes. Miss Collins, your timing is useful. Tell me of this Tommy and the theatre. Mary nods, her hands rough from sewing, trembling less, her shawl defying the cold. Tommy, a street boy, saw cloaked men carrying crates to the theatre, whispering of a raven, an auction, a man named Vane. Holmes's eyes narrow, his mind racing. Marcus Vane, a smuggler, a shadow in London's underworld, funding Raven Society's return. The theatre, he thinks, their stage, the statuette their prize. The trio moves, fog swallowing their steps, the air sharp with coal and blood. The theatre looms in Shoreditch, its walls crumbling, windows boarded, its marquee faded, letters peeling. The air smells of damp wood, wax, and something metallic like blood. Holmes. Watson. The theatre is their lair. The statuette is inside. Stay sharp, Watson. An auction? Holmes? They're selling the myth now? Mary. Tommy said Vane's men are armed. We'll need a plan. The theatre's door creaks, revealing a dark foyer, its carpet torn, walls stained, chandeliers dusty, glinting. Shadows twist, gas lamps flickering, casting spectres on peeling paint. Footsteps echo, slow, deliberate from the auditorium. Holmes leads, his cane tapping, his mind mapping the space. Exits, cover, threats. Watson follows, his revolver ready, Mary's warmth beside him a quiet strength. The auditorium is vast, its seats broken, a stage lit by candles, a stone table at the centre, the jade raven statuette glinting green like an eye. Cloaked figures sit in the shadows, their faces hidden, knives glinting. A man stands on the stage, tall, his coat fine, his eyes sharp. Marcus Vane. Vane. Gentlemen, the jade raven. Power. Myth. Control. Bidding starts now. Holmes. Your auction ends, Vane. The raven is no power, just stone. Vane laughs, sharp, venomous, his hands signalling, cultists rising, knives raised. Watson fires, the bullet grazing a cultist's arm, blood black in the candlelight. Mary ducks, grabbing a candle, throwing it at a cultist, flames catching his cloak. The auditorium erupts, knives flashing, shadows leaping. Holmes moves, his cane striking Vane's wrist. The statuette falling, rolling across the stage. Watson shields Mary, his revolver smoking, his heart racing. Watson. Mary, stay back. Holmes, we're outnumbered. Mary. I'm not hiding. We stop them together. Mary grabs a rope, pulling it. A curtain falling, scattering cultists. Her hands tremble, rough from sewing, but her eyes are fierce, her courage afire. Holmes snatches the statuette, his mind racing. Stone carved, no power, a lie to self-fear. Vane roars, his knife slashing, but Holmes dodges, his cane striking Vane's knee, dropping him. Watson fires, the bullet tearing through a cultist's shoulder, blood spraying. The cultists falter, some fleeing, their knives dull, their myth cracking. Mary kicks a crate, splintering it, revealing a trapdoor marked with a raven, its lines sharp. Mary. Holmes. Here. They're escaping below. Holmes. Watson. The trapdoor. Vane's plan dies with him. The trapdoor leads to a tunnel, damp, glistening, smelling of earth and blood. Candles flicker, their light casting shadows on walls carved with symbols, ravens, circles, jagged lines. The air is thick, pressing, chants faint, low, weaving through the dark. Watson's lantern swings, its light weak, Mary's hand gripping his, her warmth grounding him. Holmes leads, his cane tapping, his thoughts relentless. The tunnel opens to a chamber, its walls rough stone, a stone table littered with papers, a map of London, chalk circles marking ports, markets, a global plan. Vane crawls, his eyes wild, his voice a hiss, promising return. Vane, the myth lives. You can't stop it. Holmes, your myth is a business, Vane, and businesses fail. Holmes kicks the table, papers scattering, candles falling, flames licking the stone. Watson fires, the bullet grazing Vane's arm, blood black, a scream ripping through the air. Mary grabs the statuette, throwing it against the wall, jade shattering, green fragments glinting, the myth breaking. The cultists scatter, their chants fading, their knives dull. The chamber burns, smoke thick, swallowing Vane's plan. Watson shields Mary, his revolver empty, his heart lifting, her courage alight in the dark. Watson. Mary, you did it again. You're unstoppable. Mary. We all did, Doctor. London's safe. For now. The trio escapes the chamber, the tunnel collapsing behind them, dust falling like ash. The theatre quiets, fog thick, the streets alive, scarred but breathing. Holmes walks ahead, his coat damp, his mind hums, replaying the theatre's chaos. Vane's face, pale, human, his laugh weak. The myth was their weapon, he thinks, a lie to sell fear. His eyes scan the streets, catching a newspaper headline, "Smuggler caught in Shoreditch." The truth won, he thinks, but truths are fragile. Watson walks with Mary, her shawl tight, her eyes kind, fierce, her warmth a quiet anchor. She'll stay in Whitechapel, he thinks, her life hers, scarred but whole. Holmes, Watson, the myth cracks, but its shadow lingers. We watch. Watson, home, Holmes, or another hunt? Holmes, Baker Street for now, the city needs us. Mary pauses, her eyes on Watson, her smile small, brave. She thinks of the theatre, the statuette, Vane's face, broken. She's free, she thinks, her hands trembling less, her heart fierce. She'll sew again, her life hers, a light in the dark. She brushes Watson's hand, light, her fingers warm, her eyes shy, strong, a promise. Mary. Keep London safe, Doctor. I'll be here, helping my people. Watson. You're stronger than you know, Mary. We'll meet again. The Thames glints, gold, carrying whispers of the night, its water alive, scarred but flowing. Holmes and Watson walk, their boots splashing, their coats heavy, torn, their minds sharp, their hearts heavy. The city wakes, its streets alive, its people stepping into the light, their hands rough, their eyes hopeful. A newsboy shouts, "Heroes of Shoreditch!" Watson smiles, faint, his chest warm, but a raven mark on a wall nags, fresh, deep, a whisper of doubt. The hunt continues, he thinks. Holmes ahead, his silhouette sharp, a beacon in the chaos. The Thames churns below, its waters gold in the dawn, carrying whispers of the night's chaos. Vane's shattered plans, the jade raven in fragments, the theatre's smouldering ruin. Holmes and Watson walk along the embankment, their boots splashing in puddles, their coats heavy, torn, reeking of smoke and damp wool. Mary's parting words linger in Watson's mind, her smile small, fierce, her hands warmth a quiet anchor. She's back in Whitechapel now, he thinks, her needle flashing, her life scarred but hers. His heart lifts, light, but the raven mark on the wall, fresh, deep, nags like a splinter. The city wakes, its streets alive, gas lamps flickering out, newsboys shouting, "Heroes of Shoreditch!" Yet the air feels thick, heavy with coal and doubt. Holmes's eyes scan the horizon, his cane tapping the cobblestones, steady, cold. His mind hums, replaying the theatre's shadows, Vane's laugh, weak but venomous. The myth cracked, he thinks, but myths are stubborn. The Raven Society's roots run deep, their members scattered, their spark not yet snuffed. He glances at Watson, his silhouette weary but sharp, his revolver heavy in his pocket, empty now but ready for the next hunt. Holmes. Watson. The city breathes, but its pulse is unsteady. Vane was a pawn, not the king. The raven mark on that wall, it's a signal, not a scar. Watson. Another move already? Holmes, we barely stopped them. My arm's still bruised, and Mary, he pauses, her name soft. She deserves peace. Holmes. Peace is a luxury, Watson. The myth feeds on fear, and fear is cheap in London. That mark points to a new player. We return to Baker Street, but not to rest. The walk to Baker Street is silent. The city's hum growing, cartwheels clattering, hawkers shouting, the clink of coins in tin cups. The air smells of bread, coal and river mud. Sharp. Alive. At 2:21 Mrs. Hudson greets them, her hands flour-dusted, her eyes tired but warm. A fire crackles in the grate, its heat chasing the damp from their bones. Holmes slumps into his armchair, his fingers steepled, his mind racing. Watson pours brandy, the glass cold, the amber liquid catching the firelight. He thinks of Mary, her shawl patched, her courage afire in the dark. Watson. What's next, Holmes? The museum, the theatre, it's all connected, but who's left pulling strings? Holmes reaches for a pipe, its bowl scratched, its stem worn. He lights it, smoke curling, grey, like the train's breath at the station. His eyes narrow, piecing clues, the raven mark, the map's chalk circles, Vane's mention of a return. The Raven Society, he thinks, isn't just a cult, it's a network, funded by shadows, thriving on London's chaos. Holmes. The mark on the wall was deliberate, Watson. Not vandalism, but a message. The Society's remnants are rallying, and their new leader is bolder than Vane. We need the source of their funds, their true aim. A knock interrupts. Sharp. Urgent. Mrs. Hudson opens the door, revealing a boy, thin, his cap crooked, his hands ink-stained. A newsboy, Tommy, Mary's contact. His eyes dart, nervous, his boots muddy from Shoreditch's alleys. He clutches a crumpled paper, its edges torn, ink smudged. Tommy. Miss Mary sent me, sirs. Said you'd need this. Found it near the theatre in the rubble. Cloaked blokes were whispering about a ship, the Black Tern, at the docks. Holmes snatches the paper, unfolding it. A manifest scrawled in haste, listing crates bound for the Black Tern docked at Wapping. The cargo, artefacts, jade, gold marked with raven symbols. Watson's chest tightens, the air thick with tobacco and doubt. Another shipment, he thinks. Another plan. Watson. A ship? Holmes, they're not just stealing, they're smuggling. The Jade Raven was a decoy, wasn't it? Holmes. Precisely, Watson. The statuette was a symbol to sell, but the real prize is power. Artifacts, wealth, influence. The Black Tern is their escape, their new stage. We go to Wapping now. The docks at Wapping are a maze of crates, ropes and shadows, the air heavy with salt, tar and fish. Ships creak, their masts swaying, lanterns swinging, casting spectres on slick planks. The Black Tern looms, its hull black, its deck bustling with men, their coats patched, their hands rough, loading crates under flickering gaslight. Holmes and Watson crouch behind barrels, their breath clouding, their eyes sharp. The raven mark is carved on a crate, deep, fresh, glinting in the lantern's glow. Holmes. Watson, see the crate? That's their treasure. We need the manifest's buyer, the Society's new head. Watson. And if they're armed? My revolver's reloaded, but we're outnumbered. Holmes' cane taps the ground, soft, deliberate. His mind maps the dock. Exits, cover, threats. A figure steps from the ship's gangway, tall, cloaked, her movements fluid, deliberate. A woman, her face half hidden, her eyes sharp, like a hawk's. She speaks to a dockhand, her voice low, commanding, her gloved hand passing a coin. Holmes's eyes narrow, his thoughts racing. Lady Eleanor Crane, a name from whispers, a widow, a patron of museums, a shadow in London's elite. Holmes. Lady Crane, Watson. She funds the Society, cloaking their myth in her wealth. The Black Tern is hers. A shout cuts the air, a dockhand spotting them, his knife glinting. Watson raises his revolver, but Holmes pulls him back. their boots slipping on wet planks. The dock erupts, men charging, knives flashing, crates splintering. Watson fires, the bullet grazing a man's arm, blood black in the lantern light. Holmes moves, his cane striking a wrist, a knife clattering. Lady Crane vanishes into the ship, her cloak a shadow, her laughter sharp, venomous. Watson. Holmes, she's escaping. We can't let her sail. The chase leads aboard the Black Tern, its deck slick, its air thick with tar and salt. Crates are stacked, marked with ravens, their contents glinting, jade, gold, relics. Holmes kicks a crate, splintering it, revealing a statue, its eyes emerald, its base carved with symbols. Watson's heart races, the air pressing, the ship's bell clanging, signalling departure. Footsteps echo, deliberate from the cabin. Lady Crane emerges, her cloak discarded, her dress black, her eyes cold, a pistol in her gloved hand. Lady Crane. Mr. Holmes, Dr. Watson, you're persistent, but the myth is mine now. These artefacts, power, not stone, will reshape London. Holmes. Power is a lie, Lady Crane. Your society sells fear, not strength. Your ship won't leave Wapping. She laughs, sharp, her pistol steady. Watson's revolver is raised, his arm aching, his thoughts pulling to Mary, her courage, her warmth. The deck shifts, the ship lurching, ropes snapping. A shadow moves, swift, behind Lady Crane. Mary, her shawl tight, her eyes fierce, a rope in her hands. She pulls, a crate swinging, knocking Lady Crane's pistol away. Watson fires, the bullet tearing through a crate, wood splintering. Holmes lunges, his cane striking Lady Crane's wrist, dropping her to the deck. Mary. You're not the only one who knows these docks, lady. Watson. Mary. You're a marvel. How did you... Mary. Tommy saw the ship. I couldn't stay away, Doctor. Not when London's at stake. The dock hands falter, some fleeing, their knives dull, their loyalty thin. Holmes binds Lady Crane's wrists, her eyes wild, her voice a hiss, promising return. The crates are opened, their contents glinting, artefacts, maps, ledgers naming buyers across Europe. Watson's lantern swings, its light weak, Mary's hand brushing his, her warmth grounding him. The Black Tern quiets, the ship seized, the myth cracking. Holmes. Watson. Mary. The Society's heart is exposed. These ledgers will bury them. Watson. And Lady Crane? She's no vain, Holmes. She's connected. Powerful. Mary. Power breaks, Doctor. We've seen it before. The trio leaves the ship, the dock's alive, scarred but breathing. Constables arrive, their lanterns swinging, their hands rough, carting crates binding Lady Crane. The Thames glints, gold, carrying whispers of the night, its water alive, flowing. Holmes walks ahead, his coat damp, his mind hums, replaying Lady Crane's face, pale, human, her laugh weak. The myth was her weapon, he thinks, a lie to sell power. Watson walks with Mary, her shawl tight, her eyes kind, fierce, her warmth a quiet anchor. She'll stay in Whitechapel, he thinks, her life hers, scarred but whole. Holmes. The myth fades, Watson, but its embers glow. We watch. Watson. Baker Street, Holmes? Or another hunt? Mary. Keep London safe, Doctor. I'll be here, sewing, helping my people. The city wakes, its streets alive, its people stepping into the light, their hands rough, their eyes hopeful. The newsboy shouts, "Smugglers caught at Wapping." Watson smiles, faint, his chest warm, but a raven mark on a warehouse wall nags, fresh, deep, a whisper of doubt. The hunt continues, he thinks, Holmes ahead, his silhouette sharp, a beacon in the chaos. Epilogue. The shadow lingers. Weeks pass, the city settling, its scars fading. Baker Street is quiet, the fire crackling, Mrs. Hudson's scones warm, their butter melting. Holmes sits, his violin humming, its notes sharp, weaving through the air. Watson writes, his pen scratching, the Strand eager for his tale. the case of the missing jewel. Mary's letter lies open, her words kind, fierce, her life in Whitechapel thriving, her needle flashing, her courage alight. She'll visit, she writes, her hand brushing his in memory. Promise. A knock breaks the quiet, soft, deliberate. Mrs. Hudson opens the door, revealing a man, old, his coat frayed, his hands trembling. He holds a parcel, its paper brown, tied with twine, a raven mark scratched into the wax. Holmes's eyes narrow, his violin silent, his mind racing. The man speaks, his voice low, cracked. Man. For you, sir. From the shadows. They ain't gone. The parcel holds a map, its lines faint. Chalk circles marking Paris, Rome, Cairo. Watson's chest tightens, the air thick with tobacco and doubt. Another hunt, he thinks, his revolver cold, his heart light, Mary's face lingering. Holmes unfolds the map, his cane tapping, his thoughts relentless. Holmes. Watson. The myth lives. Pack your bag. The game begins again. The Thames glints outside, gold, carrying whispers of the world, its water alive, scarred but flowing. The hunt continues, Holmes's silhouette sharp, a beacon in the chaos. The fire in Baker Street crackles, its embers glowing, casting shadows on the walls, their edges sharp like the raven marks scratched into the parcel's wax. Holmes holds the map, its lines faint, chalk circles marking Paris, Rome, Cairo, cities pulsing with secrets, their streets as scarred as London's. Watson stands by the window, the Thames glinting gold below, its waters alive, carrying whispers of the world. His heart is heavy. Mary's letter folded in his pocket, her words kind, fierce, her promise of a visit a warmth in the dark. The old man's words echo, they ain't gone, and the air feels thick, heavy with tobacco and doubt. Holmes' violin lies silent, its strings taut, waiting. His cane taps the floor, steady, cold, his mind racing, piecing clues, the map, the raven, and the society's reach beyond London. Watson. Paris, Rome, Cairo. Holmes. The Raven Society's gone global. We stopped Vane, Lady Crane. How many more are there? Holmes. As many as fear allows, Watson. The society thrives on chaos, not loyalty. This map is their blueprint, not their grave. We start in Paris. The first circle is darkest. Watson's chest tightens, his revolver cold in its drawer, his arm still bruised from Wapping's chaos. He thinks of Mary, her shawl patched, her needle flashing in Whitechapel, her courage afire. She'd want him to go, he thinks, to keep the fight alive. Mrs. Hudson enters, her hands flour-dusted, her eyes weary, holding a telegram, its paper crisp, its ink sharp. Holmes tears it open, his eyes narrowing. A message from Lestrade scrawled in haste. French police report theft at Louvre. Raven mark found. Suspect fled to Paris sewers. Holmes. The game moves, Watson. Packlight. We leave for Paris tonight. The Channel crossing is rough, the steamer pitching, its deck slick with spray, the air sharp with salt and coal. Holmes stands at the rail, his coat flapping, his eyes scanning the horizon, grey, endless. Watson grips the rail, his stomach churning, his thoughts pulling to Mary, her letter a weight in his pocket. The raven mark haunts him, its lines deep, a whisper of doubt. Paris looms, its skyline jagged, its lights flickering through fog, a city of secrets, its alleys as twisted as London's. They arrive at Gare du Nord, the station crowded, its air thick with smoke, perfume and bread. Voices clash, French, English, Arabic. Merchants shouting, porters shoving, their hands rough, their coats patched. Holmes moves, his cane tapping, his mind mapping the city, sewers, museums, shadows. A gendarme, his uniform crisp, his moustache grey, meets them, his voice low, clipped, his eyes tired. He speaks of the Louvre theft, a jade pendant, carved with a raven, gone from a locked case, No alarms, no witnesses, just the mark, scratched deep. Gendarme. Monsieur Holmes. The pendant was small, but its loss shakes Paris. The sewers are their path, dark, endless. We dare not follow. Holmes. Then we will, monsieur. The raven mark is their signature, not their shield. Watson reloads his revolver, its weight heavy, familiar, his heart racing. The sewers, he thinks. Another trap, another hunt. They descend, the air damp, sour, smelling of earth and decay. Lanterns swing, their light weak, casting spectres on slimy walls, their bricks carved with symbols, ravens, circles, jagged lines. Footsteps echo, soft, deliberate, ahead in the dark. Holmes leads, his cane tapping, his thoughts relentless, tracing the society's web. Artifacts stolen, sold, funding chaos across borders. Watson's boots slip, his lantern flickering, Mary's face lingering, her courage alight in the dark. A shadow moves, swift, a knife glinting. Watson raises his revolver, but Holmes signals, his hand steady, his eyes catching a figure, cloaked, thin, vanishing into a tunnel. The chase twists through the sewers, their walls narrowing, water rushing, cold, black. The figure pauses, turning, his face pale, young, his eyes sharp, a raven pendant glinting at his neck. He speaks, his voice low, accented, mocking. Thief, you chase shadows, Holmes. The raven flies beyond your reach. Holmes, shadows cast light, boy. Your pendant is no power, just stone. The thief laughs, sharp, his knife slashing, but Holmes dodges, his cane striking the boy's wrist, the pendant falling, clattering on stone. Watson fires, the bullet grazing the thief's arm, blood black in the lantern light. The boy flees, his footsteps fading, the pendant left behind, its jade glinting, green like an eye. Holmes snatches it, his fingers tracing its lines, his mind racing, crafted in Cairo, he thinks. A link to the map's circles. Watson. Holmes, he's gone. But this pendant, it's another piece. Cairo next. Holmes. Not yet, Watson. Paris holds more. The thief wasn't alone. They emerge from the sewers, the city alive, its streets lit by gas lamps, their flames flickering, casting shadows on cobblestones. The air smells of wine, bread, and river mud. Sharp, alive. A cafe looms, its tables crowded, its patrons loud, their hands rough, their eyes wary. Holmes and Watson sit, their coats damp, their faces grim. A woman approaches, her dress plain, her shawl patched, her eyes kind, fierce. Mary, her presence a shock, her voice steady. Mary. Dr. Mr. Holmes. I heard of the Louvre theft. Tommy's contacts reach Paris. Street boys talk. I came to help. Watson. Mary. You crossed the channel? It's dangerous. You should be safe. Mary. Safe isn't enough, Doctor. London's my home, but this fight's bigger. The society's in Paris, and I know they're kind. Holmes nods, his eyes narrowing, his mind mapping Mary's words. Street boys, whispers, the society's reach. She speaks of a warehouse hidden in Montmartre, where cloaked men move crates, their contents glinting, marked with ravens. The trio moves, the city's pulse quickening, its alleys twisting, fog curling, the air cold, heavy with coal and wine. The warehouse looms, its walls crumbling, its windows boarded, its door marked with a raven, deep, fresh. The air smells of damp wood, wax, and something metallic, like blood. Holmes, Watson, Mary. The warehouse is their nest. Stay sharp. The door creaks, revealing a dark interior, its floor littered with crates, papers, relics. Gas lamps flicker, their light weak, casting spectres on peeling walls. Footsteps echo, slow, deliberate, from a back room. Holmes leads, his cane tapping, his mind mapping the space. Exits, cover, threats. Watson follows, his revolver ready, Mary's warmth beside him a quiet strength. The room opens, vast, its ceiling sagging, a table at the centre piled with artefacts. Jade, gold, ivory, all marked with ravens. A man stands, tall, his coat fine, his eyes sharp. Antoine Duval, a dealer in antiquities, his name whispered in Paris's underworld, funding the society's return. Duval. Holmes, you're far from Baker Street. These artifacts are mine. Power, not trinkets. The Raven races again. Holmes. Power is a lie, Duval. Your society sells fear, not strength. Your game ends here. Duval laughs, sharp, venomous, his hand signalling, cloaked men rising, knives glinting. Watson fires, the bullet grazing a man's shoulder, blood black in the lamplight. Mary grabs a crate, splintering it, revealing a map, its lines mirroring the one from London. Paris, Rome, Cairo, chalk circles marking markets, ports, a global plan. Holmes moves, his cane striking Duval's wrist, a knife clattering. The warehouse erupts, knives flashing, shadows leaping. Mary pulls a rope, a pulley swinging, crates crashing, scattering the men. Watson shields her, his revolver smoking, his heart racing. Watson. Mary, stay back. Holmes, we're outnumbered. Mary. I'm not hiding, Doctor. We stopped them together. Mary kicks a crate, revealing a trap door, its wood marked with a raven, its lines sharp. Holmes nods, his mind racing. Tunnels, like London, like the sewers. The trapdoor leads to a cellar, damp, glistening, smelling of earth and wax. Candles flicker, their light casting shadows on walls carved with symbols, ravens, circles, jagged lines. The air is thick, pressing, chants faint, low, weaving through the dark. Watson's lantern swings, its light weak, Mary's hand gripping his, her warmth grounding him. Duval crawls, his eyes wild, his voice a hiss, promising return. Duval. The raven flies, Holmes. You can't stop it. Holmes. Your myth is a business, Duval, and businesses fail. Holmes kicks the table, papers scattering, candles falling, flames licking the stone. Watson fires, the bullet grazing Duval's arm, blood black, a scream ripping through the air. Mary grabs a ledger, its pages listing buyers, names, cities, sums, a network spanning continents. The men scatter, their chants fading, their knives dull. The cellar burns, smoke thick, swallowing Duval's plan. Watson shields Mary, his revolver empty, his heart lifting, her courage alight in the dark. Watson. Mary, you're a wonder. Paris is safe for now. Mary. We all did it, Doctor. But that map, Rome, Cairo, they're not done. The trio escapes the cellar, the warehouse collapsing behind them, dust falling like ash. Paris wakes, its streets alive, its people stepping into the light, their hands rough, their eyes hopeful. Gendarmes arrive, their lanterns swinging, their hands rough, carting crates binding Duval. Holmes walks ahead, his coat damp, his mind hums, replaying Duval's face, pale, human, his laugh weak. The myth was their weapon, he thinks, a lie to sell power. Watson walks with Mary, her shawl tight, her eyes kind, fierce, her warmth a quiet anchor. She'll return to London, he thinks, her life hers, scarred but whole. Holmes, Watson, Mary, the society's web phrase, but its threads remain. Rome next, then Cairo. Watson. Home first, Holmes, or straight to Rome? Mary. I'll go back to Whitechapel, Doctor. Keep sewing, keep helping, but you know where to find me. The Seine glints, gold, carrying whispers of the night, its water alive, flowing. A newsboy shouts, "Thieves! Caught in Montmartre!" Watson smiles, faint, his chest warm, but a raven mark on an alley wall nags, fresh, deep, a whisper of doubt. The hunt continues, he thinks, Holmes ahead, his silhouette sharp, a beacon in the chaos. The train to Rome rattles, its wheels clanking, smoke curling past windows, the countryside blurring, green, scarred. Holmes sits, his cane across his knees, his eyes scanning the carriage, catching a figure, cloaked, fleeting, vanishing into the corridor. A follower, he thinks, his mind racing. Watson leans back, his arm aching, his revolver cold, Mary's letter a warmth in his pocket. Rome looms, its ruins ancient, its streets alive, its air heavy with dust and wine. The Raven mark, he thinks, will be there, waiting. At Stazione Termini, the air is thick, warm, smelling of olives, leather and coal. Crowds press, their voices loud, their hands rough, their eyes wary. A carabinieri, his uniform faded, his face tired, meets them, his voice low, urgent. He speaks of a theft at the Capitoline Museums, a bronze raven stolen from a locked vault, no alarms, just the mark, scratched deep. Holmes's eyes narrow, his mind mapping the city, catacombs, churches, shadows. Carabinieri. Signore Holmes, the raven is gone, and Rome whispers of a cult. The catacombs, they hide there. Holmes. Then we descend, Watson. The raven mark is their call, not their strength. The catacombs are cold, their walls rough, carved with symbols, ravens, circles, jagged lines. Lanterns swing, their light weak, casting spectres on ancient stone. Footsteps echo, soft, deliberate, ahead in the dark. Holmes leads, his cane tapping, his thoughts relentless. Watson follows, his revolver ready, his heart pulling to Mary, her courage alight in the dark. The trail leads to a chamber, its walls littered with relics, a table holding a bronze raven, its eyes glinting, red, like blood. A woman stands, her dress black, her eyes sharp, Signora Lucia Rossi, a collector, her name whispered in Rome's shadows, funding the society's return. Rossi. Holmes, you chase ghosts. The raven is power, not metal. Rome is ours. Holmes. Power is a lie, Signora. Your myth ends here. The chamber erupts, cloaked men rising, knives flashing. Watson fires, the bullet grazing a man's arm, blood black in the lantern light. Holmes moves, his cane striking Rossi's wrist, the raven falling, clattering on stone. The men scatter, their knives dull, their myth cracking. Watson grabs a map, its lines marking Cairo, the final circle. The chamber quiets, dust falling, the raven broken, its eyes dull. Watson. Cairo. Holmes. The last stand. Holmes. The last, Watson. But myths die hard. The train to Cairo waits, its engine huffing, smoke thick, grey, curling into the night. Holmes and Watson board, their boots loud on metal, their coats heavy, torn, smelling of dust and blood. The hunt continues, Holmes's silhouette sharp, a beacon in the chaos. The train to Cairo rattles, its wheels screeching, smoke thick, black, curling past windows, the desert blurring, gold and endless. Holmes sits, his cane across his knees, his eyes scanning the carriage, sharp, catching every shadow. Watson leans back, his arm aching, his revolver cold, heavy in his coat. Mary's letter a warmth in his pocket. Her words, kind, fierce, linger. Her promise of a visitor light in the dark. Cairo looms, its minarets jagged, its air heavy with dust, spice and secrets. The raven mark, Watson thinks, waits there, its lines deep, a final challenge. The air smells of coal and sand, sharp, alive, the city's pulse quickening as the train slows, steam hissing, the platform crowded, chaotic. They step off, their boots crunching on grit, the sun harsh, burning through fog. Voices clash, Arabic, French, English, merchants shouting, camels grunting, their hands rough, their eyes wary. A local guide, his robe faded, his face lined, meets them, his voice low, urgent. He speaks of a theft at the Egyptian Museum, a gold raven amulet stolen from a sealed case, no alarms, just the mark, scratched deep. Holmes' eyes narrow, his mind racing. The last circle, he thinks, the society's final play. Holmes. Watson. The amulet is their keystone. Cairo is their endgame. We go to the museum now. The Egyptian Museum looms, its walls sandstone scarred, its halls cool, shadowed, smelling of wax and dust. Artifacts glint, scarab statues, their stories silent, heavy. A curator, his turban tight, his hands trembling, leads them to a shattered case, its glass jagged, a velvet stand empty. A raven mark is carved into the wood, deep, fresh. Watson's skin prickles, the air thick with doubt and spice. The curator whispers of a bazaar, Khan el-Khalili, where cloaked men trade relics. Their whispers of a raven, a ritual, a man named Omar Khalid. Watson. Khalid? Another vein? Another crane? Holmes. More than that, Watson. Khalid is their architect, the society's true head. The bazaar is his stage. The bazaar is a labyrinth. Its alleys narrow, crowded, the air thick with saffron, leather and smoke. Stalls spill with silks, spices, lamps glinting, their flames flickering, casting spectres on canvas awnings. Holmes moves, his cane tapping, his mind mapping, exits, faces, threats. Watson follows, his revolver ready, his heart pulling to Mary, her courage afire. A boy, thin, his eyes sharp, darts past, dropping a note in Holmes's hand, its ink black scrawled, Raven's Nest, midnight. Holmes's eyes narrow, his thoughts racing. Khalid's lair, the amulet's resting place. Holmes. Watson. Midnight. The nest is no myth. It's their altar. We move now. The nest is a crumbling warehouse. Its walls mud brick, its roof sagging, hidden in Cairo's old quarter. The air smells of damp earth, incense and blood, heavy, pressing. Gas lamps flicker, their light weak, casting shadows on walls carved with ravens, circles, jagged lines. Footsteps echo, slow, deliberate from within. Holmes leads, his cane silent, his mind relentless. Watson grips his revolver, his pulse racing. Mary's letter a quiet anchor. The warehouse opens, vast, its floor littered with crates, relics, a stone altar at the centre, the gold raven amulet glinting, its eyes ruby, like fire. A man stands, tall, his robe black, his eyes sharp. Omar Khalid, his voice low, commanding, his hands steady, holding a curved blade. Cloaked figures kneel, their faces hidden, their chants low, weaving through the dark. The amulet glows, its light casting spectres, the air thick with incense and fear. Khalid. Holmes. Watson. You chase a shadow that outlives you. The raven is power, control, not chaos. Join us or fall. Holmes. Your power is a lie, Khalid. The amulet is stone, your myth a fraud. Your society ends tonight. Khalid laughs, sharp, venomous, his blade flashing, signalling the figures. They rise, knives glinting, their chants rising, a tide of sound. Watson fires, the bullet grazing a figure's arm, blood black in the lamplight. Holmes moves, his cane striking Khalid's wrist, the blade clattering. The warehouse erupts, knives flashing, shadows leaping. Watson ducks, his revolver smoking, his heart racing. A figure lunges, but a shadow moves, swift. Mary, her shawl tight, her eyes fierce, a staff in her hands, striking the figure down. Watson. Mary, you're here. How? Mary. Tommy's boys track the amulet, Doctor. I crossed deserts for this. We finish it together. Mary swings the staff, splintering a crate, revealing ledgers, names, cities, sums, the society's global web. Holmes snatches the amulet, his fingers tracing its lines, his mind racing. Crafted to deceive, he thinks, a symbol to sell fear. Khalid roars, his fist swinging, but Holmes dodges, his cane striking Khalid's knee, dropping him. Watson fires, the bullet tearing through a figure's shoulder, blood spraying. Mary pulls a rope, a pulley crashing, scattering the figures, their knives dull, their chants faltering. Mary. Holmes. The altar. It's their heart. Holmes. Watson. The ledgers. Burn them. The amulets nothing without their lies. Watson grabs the ledgers, tossing them into a brazier, flames licking paper, smoke thick, swallowing Khalid's plan. Mary smashes the amulet, gold shattering, ruby eyes dull, the myth breaking. Khalid crawls, his eyes wild, his voice a hiss, promising return. Khalid. The raven flies, Holmes. You can't kill it. Holmes. Myths die, Khalid. Yours is ash. The figures scatter, their chants fading, the warehouse collapsing, dust falling like sand. Watson shields Mary, his revolver empty, his heart lifting, her courage alight in the dark. Holmes binds Khalid, his wrists tight, his eyes human, broken. The trio escapes, the bazaar alive, its stalls glowing, its people stepping into the light, their hands rough, their eyes hopeful. Constables arrive, their lanterns swinging, carting crates, binding Khalid. The Nile glints, gold, carrying whispers of the night, its water alive, flowing. Watson. Mary, you crossed the world for this. You're unstoppable. Mary. We all did, Doctor. The society's done. For now. Holmes. The myth cracks, Watson, but its embers glow. We watch. They return to London, the steamer steady, the channel calm, the air sharp with salt and coal. Baker Street welcomes them, its fire crackling, Mrs. Hudson's scones warm, their butter melting. Holmes sits, his violin humming, its notes sharp, weaving through the air. Watson writes, his pen scratching, the Strand waiting. Mary's letter lies open, her words kind, fierce, her life in Whitechapel thriving, her needle flashing, her courage afire. She'll visit, she writes, her hand brushing his in memory, a promise kept. A newsboy shouts, Cairo cult crushed. Watson smiles, faint, his chest warm, but a raven mayok on a lamppost nags, fresh, deep, a whisper of doubt. The hunt pauses, he thinks, Holmes's silhouette sharp, a beacon in the chaos. Watson. Holmes, or another hunt? Holmes. Baker Street, Watson. The city needs us, always. That's our tale tonight, listeners. Share your thoughts, your city, your time zone. Are you in Tokyo at twilight, Cairo past midnight, or New York at first light? Like this episode, subscribe if you love these shadows. Keep your lanterns lit. Rest well. Until next time.